Woo! Okay, I think we're live.
Yay! Awesome!
Awesome. Hi, everyone. It is so fun to see so many familiar names already in the chat. This is super exciting for me. Okay, so welcome to the Workflow Workshop. In this workshop, we're going to be talking about all of the actionable tools that you can implement into your business today so that you can stop losing time and clients and money. And I know we kind of all need that, right? I know I do. So first, let me back up and let me introduce my friend Laura to you guys, since I know for many of you, it's the first time that you're getting to meet her. So Laura is a super successful wedding and brand photographer located in New Jersey. She's been featured on the Boca podcast, Rising Tide Society, Honey Book, as an educator on this very topic. She's frankly one of the smartest businesswomen that I know and someone that I love to learn from consistently. And so it's funny, we actually met 3 years ago when I stumbled across a video all about workflows that Laura had created. And at the time, I was super overwhelmed, stuck behind my computer a lot, and was wondering like how I was going to get out of that cycle. And when I say that this video and Laura changed my life and business, I truly mean that, because I wouldn't be where I am today without her. So I soon found out that Laura is the workflow expert, and I've been learning from her ever since. And when I say expert, I mean that there's quite literally no one that I would think would be better equipped to be talking about this stuff, because she is the real deal. So she teaches creatives to be more productive, build systems, build workflows, and truthfully, just not burn out. Because let's be like team hashtag no more burnout, right?
Team no more burnout. Yeah. Burnt out to balanced.
Yes. And so Laura and I both really share that belief that you really don't need to be working 10-hour days in your business in order to see growth and progress and to be able to scale. And so a lot of us started working for ourselves because we wanted freedom and time freedom and financial freedom. But then what happens is we end up working even more hours than we ever anticipated signing up for. And the truth is that it does not have to be that way. And I really, truly did not know this. I thought the hustle was the only way before implementing proper workflows into my photography business. And so that's why I am so passionate about this topic and about what Laura teaches here today. I know that you guys are going to love Laura in this teaching. And so I'm going to hand this off to Laura, and I'm going to hop in the chat and be learning right along with you guys.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You took the words right out of my mouth. Like, I am in the same boat, and you guys will learn. I'll share more of my story, but you will learn that I also thought that the hustle mentality just was the way it had to be, and work all the time, like regular 14-hour days were the norm. Like 10-hour days, I was like, whoo, what a easy work day. And so all of that has changed, and I'm very excited. So thank you so much for having me. And I'm really, really excited to give a lot and ton of value to your audience. And I'm just really honored. So I'm going to start screen sharing and make sure you guys can see my slides. Okay, you can see my slides, correct? There might be a slight delay in the chat box, so I'm just going to wait a sec, make sure you guys can see. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Joy. All right, so guys, obviously, we've all been on presentations before, webinar, workshop, masterclass, whatever the heck you want to call it. We've all been on them before. The way that this is going to be most valuable for you and most fun for me is you guys engaging in the comments. That just lights me up. It makes me so excited. And I really want to have a conversation with you guys and not talk at you. I want to talk with you. There's going to be a ton of content. I have 127 slides. Brevity is not my strong suit, and workflows are a big topic. So I just wanted to pack in as much possible value as I could. So we're going to have about 90 minutes of content time. And then I'm going to share a little bit more with you guys about my course, Photography Workflow Mastery, at the very end if you are interested. But fear not, because this is like so jam-packed with value the entire time. So I'm really, really excited to share this with you. And we're also going to have an assessment that I'm going to pop in the comments in a little bit to kind of follow along the entire time. So there will also be a workbook at the end. So 3 things coming at you. The assessment coming soon, the workbook at the end, and I'll share more about my course at the end as well. So, like Joy already briefly introduced me, but if you don't know who I am, my name is Laura. I have 3 businesses. 2 very active ones right now are Laura Photography, where I do wedding and brand photography for going on 9 years now, and Laura Creative is my educational side of my business, where I always say I accidentally stumbled into education because I started creating workflows and systems and productivity processes and just getting really efficient and diving into everything I could about working smarter in my business. And people started taking notice, like Joy said, Honeybook and Boca and Rising Tide, and also just a lot of my friends. So I started accidentally, I always call it accidental mentorship. And people would come, they would sit around my fire pit, my friends, we would be drinking wine, eating cheese, like charcuterie boards are life. And everybody would just start talking about how burnt out they were and how overwhelmed they were with their business. And like Joy mentioned, freedom is the reason why I think so many of us start our businesses in the first place. Just give me a yes or an amen if that is one of the values that you pursue in running a business. But Pierre and Sierra, is everybody else having an okay connection? Joy, let me know if this is clear. It might be just, if you guys need to, just hit refresh. But I should have a good connection. Okay, awesome. So freedom is like what we all want, right? But what happened to me, I'll share more of my story, is that I burnt out so quickly on the admin work and the post-production work of running a wedding photography business. And so I really spent all this time getting super organized, thanks to my mom, actually. She was an office manager, and she was like, you need workflows and systems. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so she basically told me what they were, and then I sat down, created the first one. And so I will share more about that journey in a little bit, but I'm based in New Jersey. I love what I do. I am so fired up helping people find more balance in their life. And as fun as I think workflows and systems are, I know it's not a creative entrepreneur's dream to be organized, but the benefit of it all is that you get more time for the things that truly matter in your life, your family, your friends, your clients, and just the passion side of your business and the creativity side that lights you up. Because I know that we did not become photographers to spend all our time in email or all of our time culling or editing or blogging or working on timelines. So there is so much we do. And so I'm just really, really excited to be here. And on a personal note, when I'm not working, I just got married. I have a cat who just turned 1 year old. He is the best. His name is Tucker. I got married back in June. We had a COVID micro ceremony, and Scott is my husband. He's amazing. And we love to ski and paddleboard and kayak and just get outside as much as possible. And when I first started my business, I can guarantee you none of those things were happening. And I was like, this is so backwards. I was craving freedom, and now I have none of it. And so now my goal is to help as many creatives as possible find freedom in their business. So that's a little bit about me. And if you are here, you are in the right place. If you're a photographer struggling with balancing your business and your life, and it feels like you're spending more time in front of your computer than you are your family. And as I say these things, just give a yes in the comments or amen, whichever one you want, or a smiley face if you're like, yep, I'm in the right place. Number 2, if you are a photographer struggling with creating a repeatable workflow that saves you time, eliminates overwhelm, and gives your clients a better experience, you are in the right place. If you're feeling like you're drowning in your business, working on client work and emails and managing your time and to-dos, leaving little time to work on your business and grow your business without spending more time, you are in the right place. And if your business is currently in a state of organized chaos, which is somehow trickling into every area of your life, leaving you feeling overwhelmed with where to begin fixing it. So some common things I hear people say, maybe you have thought one of these things to yourself: I can never catch up. Once I add one thing to the list, 5 other things also get added. I'm drowning in work. It's taking time away from my family. If I had just a few more hours in each day. Another one, I'm in pure survival mode most of the time. I never get to just shut off. I'm neglecting self-care. My friends stopped asking me to come to happy hour. I work full time. And my favorite one that I don't even have on this slide is, if I just had a clone of myself, then all of this would be so much easier. But tell me if this is what you would rather have instead. Number 1, these are like my favorite, and this is like so possible. It's so crazy. Very, very excited about this. If you would rather not be working around the clock anymore and have tons of new free time to spend with your cute little family, if you would love to be in the middle of busy season and somehow cut your post-production time in half or more, and now you only have one wedding in your queue at all times. If your inbox was full of happy mail, 5-star testimonials from over-the-moon clients, and tons of new inquiries because your marketing, your social media, your blog, your website, and your client and vendor relationships is on point. Tell me if you would rather have the option to make more money while working less time, and with that time, you get to spend it with people you love the most. If you would rather have clients raving about their experience and can't stop talking about you so you can charge what you are worth. These are all like, right now, maybe this feels like a pipe dream, but these are all the things that is completely possible when you get organized and streamlined and productive. You actually won't feel like a frazzled, stressed out, overwhelmed hot mess when it comes to running your business. You will feel more efficient, productive, organized, and streamlined. You'll be running your business super, super easy. And dare I say, you'll actually have work-life balance and won't be making personal sacrifices for the sake of your business. Like, give me an amen if that is sounding good to you, like not making personal sacrifices for the sake of your business. Like, holy hallelujah. And Lynn, hold on, I'm just going to message Lynn. If you are on, yes, the broadcast has started. Just try refreshing. Anybody who's having connection problems, just try refreshing. So, amen to all of this. So I have got your back. My goal as an educator is to help you run your business 10 times faster and make time for the people and things you love the most. In short, I want to help you run a business that doesn't run you and help you do the things you love, aka run a photography business, faster and easier. So we're going to go through creating workflows, different areas of your business where you're gonna most likely be losing time, clients, and money every single year. We're gonna cover 2 super important systems you need, and I'm also going to screen share the back end of my systems for you. We're gonna talk about 1 mental shift you need to make to save hundreds of hours a year. The areas I see most business owners going wrong when trying to set up workflows and systems. There's definitely a lot of areas I see. I've been teaching this for like 6 years now. We have a community of a little over 5,000 people that I just really strictly teach workflows and productivity to. And we are going to talk about tasks to focus on for business growth. But before we dive in, we're jumping into content in 1 second, but I have a cool little assessment for you guys that we're going to be doing as we go through this workshop. So I'm going to share that checklist in the chat box and let me know if that pops up for you. I think it should pop up either in the File tab or in the chat box, it should be a little assessment that we're going to go through. So Joy, if that popped up, just let me know, or anybody can let me know, and that'll be super fun to go through. So awesome. Janine, thank you so much. And at the very end, and if you need to hop off, like I know it's, we all have, crazy lives right now. Spouses are home, kids are home. You might not have childcare. And so if you do need to hop off, I will definitely send this in an email follow-up, but I'll have a workbook at the end that's going to basically give you the skinny on everything we talk about today. So you can pay attention instead of taking totally frantic notes. I would recommend just, if you have ideas while I'm talking, write those down, but you'll get most of what I'm talking about in a workbook later on. So, and Allison said, only way I'm doing this is during editing photos. Yeah. So a little bit about my story. I was not always organized. And I feel like my friends always say, like, you are super productive and like superhuman efficiency and you're so organized. And I was not always like this. I'm an Enneagram 7. So if you know any Enneagram 7s, you know that they have a million ideas. They're very scattered. They're not great finishers. And I really, really needed to get my life together because everything felt like a chaotic mess. And because of that, because I was so unorganized, I was running my business by the seat of my pants with no workflows and systems. I was pulling all-nighters. I was burnt out. I was exhausted and truthfully burning the candle at both ends, never seeing my family, my now husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, or my friends. And I was honestly working regular 12 to 16-hour days to edit, blog, and do everything I could to preserve other people's memories. And I felt like I barely had any time to make my own memories in my life. And yeah, Janine, this was me back in college. I literally had this napkin taped to my wall in college. I was a design major and then I transitioned into photography, but I actually ended up in the hospital because, as you can see, that bottom left picture was what I was eating for dinner. A lot of nights I would have Mountain Dew, Monster, Cheez-Its, and like wheat thins and mozzarella sticks and throw in some juicy juice for some good measure. And it was crazy. And what happened was I took that all-nighter mentality, the grind and hustle mentality of college, and I brought that into the real world. And so I started out as an interior designer. I was a project manager. And then I transitioned to be a photo editor at a studio. So what happened was I was hitting my breaking point because I was editing for 8 hours a day at the photo studio. It was a commercial studio doing like catalogs for Toys R Us and Ross shoes and like all Christmas tree shops and all of that. So I was the photo editor for all these catalogs. So I was editing 8 hours a day and then coming home and editing weddings for like 8 hours a night. And I had no help at that point. I wasn't outsourcing. I had no system. Like my systems were Post-it notes, notebooks scattered everywhere, maybe a whiteboard, some Google Sheets for good measure that were never updated, and there was no automation, no templates, no system to follow every time. And my breaking point happened in October 2015. This was like very much the rock bottom of my business. I had 19 sessions and weddings in October 2015, and I showed up to work in sweatpants and a hoodie, and my boss Hawaii for vacation, and he called me into his office and he was like, Laura, we need to chat. You are a shell of the person you were when you came into this office, and I don't know if this is what you need, but if you need permission, you have my permission to quit. And he was like, no offense, but you are replaceable. We'll find other people to edit photos for the catalog, and I'm giving you permission. I believe that you can run your business, and I believe you can go full time with wedding photography. And he was really worried about me. He actually sent me to the doctor to get a mouth guard because I was grinding my teeth, and he was worried I was going to go deaf because he said he went partially deaf from grinding his teeth from stress. And so he made me get a mouth guard prior to this, but I took his permission, and at that point I quit my job as a photo editor and I went full-time in my business. And that was October 2015. And on the inside, I was a stressed out, burnt out mess. And on the outside, everything looked awesome. Like I had clients, I had people booking regularly, and I was just like, okay, this is great. I feel like I'm complaining about good things, but how on earth am I supposed to keep up? And I can tell you from personal experience that that was not my dream job. My dream job was not to work 16-hour days or 12-hour days or even 50-hour week, 10-hour days. And so my journey now looks a lot more like freedom, spending time with family and friends. I have booked over $300,000 in revenue from referrals alone. I have not advertised on anything, the Not Wedding Wire, Facebook ads. I have not advertised since 2015. I also rarely, barely even post on social media. I've posted since 2018. I think I've posted 8 wedding photos. So I am able to build a business that runs on word of mouth and my blog. I still blog every wedding. I want to go on social media. I just try to protect my boundaries of time. And so crazy thing now is that I've been able to take months off during the middle of wedding season and turn around weddings every time within a week or less. And we are jumping in to content, and I just wanted to really showcase to you guys that if you are feeling unorganized and chaotic and everything now, I feel like there's this title that we give ourselves, like, I'm a creative, I'm not organized, I don't know how to be productive, I'm unfocused, like whatever excuse you're giving yourself. I hear this from my students all the time, but all of these things are learned. And so that is the amazing thing here is I learned it. You can learn it. If I am a scattered Enneagram 7, I promise you can do it as well. So we're going to jump into 5 different components today. But one thing that I really want to, this is what I want you guys to visualize as I'm going through all of this content, is this question and this concept of your business being a leaky bucket. So I want you to imagine you are filling up a bucket to go water your flowers, and you fill it up at the hose, you go to water your flowers, and then all of a sudden there's no water in the bucket and you haven't even watered a single flower yet. And you are look down and you see 4 to 5 holes in your bucket. So you grab some duct tape and it temporarily works, but as the tape wears down, the water starts to leak out at the seams and the process happens all over again. And truth be told, this is what most of our businesses look like if they were a bucket. Most businesses are losing clients, time, and money in so many different areas. You might be losing clients in your inquiry process. You're losing a ton of time by not having workflows and systems and productivity systems. And we're going to go through all of these different ways throughout the presentation, but I want you to just have this visual of when you can stop duct taping these holes and fix them for good. We are able to make more money while working less, while not burning out, while being able to take a vacation and work with clients that refer you over and over again because you have an incredible client experience, a great inquiry process, and you are not wasting money because of disorganization. And I'm going to talk about that throughout the whole presentation. So I wanted to give you that visual because it's super important of assessing what our current business looks like so that we know what holes to actually fix. So part 1 here is creating workflows. So we're going to go through this 8-step process for creating workflows. And this 8-step process is going to be in the workbook. So just pay attention during it. You don't need to take notes. But our first hole, so this is like our leaky hole number one, is having a lack of workflows. And this is going to cost you a ton of time, many clients, either from referrals or a not so great inquiry process or not so great experience or onboarding process. It's going to cost you money when you don't have this set up, because time is money, and it'll also cost your sanity. So the most common places in workflows that I see people losing all these things is your inquiry process, your onboarding process, your client experience, your post-production, your task management, your CRM or lack of setting that up and maximizing it, your lack of automations, and inefficiency. And all of these things, I'm going to have examples as I go through, so I won't dive into all these places right now, but I'll explain as I go through the content why you're losing time, clients, and money in these places. But all of this leads to feeling like this during busy season. And so when we dive into this first part of creating workflows, I want you guys to just start to think as I go through these steps of where you can start plugging holes in your leaky bucket so that you can get more efficient, create a better client experience, maybe not lose so many people in the inquiry process. And I know Joy is amazing at this as well. And I have like a really, really cool, exciting bonus for you guys at the end that Joy was a part of that I'm very excited about. So this first section, though, we'll dive into creating workflows. And I always like to kick this off with an analogy from Friends, one of my favorite TV shows that I think is a sin that it's not on Netflix during quarantine. Like, why? Just give us Friends back. So in this episode, if you've seen it, Monica is trying to bake cookies to match Phoebe's grandma's cookie recipe. And she goes through like 17 or 18 batches of cookies, never gets it right until she asks Phoebe if she happens to know where her grandma got the recipe. And in a French accent, Phoebe says, Nestlé to Hause. And Monica freaks out about spending 2 days baking cookies when the recipe was on the back of the chocolate chip bag the whole time. And the lesson here is that when we don't have workflows and systems and recipes for how we run things in our business, especially when we have dozens of clients we're managing, we waste tons of time and become really inefficient. And so in this episode and this analogy, I really view workflows as the ingredients. And maybe Monica knew that you needed chocolate chips and you needed flour and you needed butter and you needed sugar and whatever the heck else you need to make chocolate chip cookies. But maybe she didn't know the system of how to do it, what to set the oven to, how long to do it, what was this special ingredient to put in there and in what order. And so I think cooking is such a great example. Like, we might all have the same ingredients, but a real chef or a real baker is going to know exactly what to do with those ingredients. And so I was trying to explain all this to my husband the other day, and I was like, all right, listen, I could give you my workflow checklist and it'll mean nothing to you if you don't know how to do all of that efficiently. And so that is what we're going to really dive into at the end, and that's what my course dives into as well. So I think this analogy really drives that home. And now we're going to dive into what a great workflow needs to do. And if I would love to know in the comments if you guys have any semblance of a workflow written out right now, if you use a CRM, or what you're doing to keep track of clients right now and keep track of where you're at with clients. Let me know kind of what level of automation and systemizing and organization you are on. It'll be just really great to know where you guys are at as I continue on through this. So first thing that I want to dive into is what a great workflow needs to do. And it needs to be repeatable, which means you can use it over and over and over again for all of your clients. It needs to be easy to follow, which means it should be very easy to train somebody on. It should be automated and do the thinking for you. It should be consistent and detailed enough that steps are not missed or forgotten. It should make you more efficient. It should have due dates on everything, and it should be valuable for both you and your client. So that's a huge kicker, and I think that's where a lot of people go wrong with creating workflows, is they think it's just this checklist of things they need to do on the back end. But as you'll see as I go through these 8 steps, it is really going to be something that creates tremendous value for you and your client, and it makes you way more efficient, and it gives your clients a way better experience. So hold on one second. My husband just got home and he's in a meeting, so I gotta close my office door. Okay, real life quarantine problems. So first thing I like to go over is what should be included in your workflow, because it's not just going to be big milestones. It's not just going to be tasks. It's not just going to be back end stuff. It's actually going to have everything for your back end, but also for your client facing side. So this will also be in your workbook. So don't worry about writing this section down. So the first big thing you need is chapter headings or stages. And we're going to go through what that means in my 8-step process. But essentially, I like to view the workflow as this table of contents, or your chapter headings, your stages of your workflow are like a table of contents for every single thing you need to do from the second somebody fills out your contact form all the way through delivering your gallery, your service, your album. And Caitlin, yes, this is recorded. There will be a replay. It'll be available for, I think, 72 hours or something. So that's your first thing, chapter headings. Next is going to be tasks. So these are going to just be the main things, just to-do items under every single chapter. So this is really the umbrella that holds different subtasks for each section. So if, for example, post-production is an entire chapter of your workflow, right? That's this really, really big chunk of a photography workflow is post-production. So that would be like our chapter heading in our workflow table of contents. Then you might have these really big tasks in there. And honestly, this is where people stop with creating workflows, if at all, is blog wedding, co-wedding, edit wedding. Those are tasks, but there are many subtasks that go into getting all of those things actually to the finish line. And when you have subtasks, that's what makes it really easy to get things done quickly, because our brain actually releases dopamine when we get things crossed off of a to-do list. So when you have micro steps or subtasks created, you're actually going to be way more likely to achieve the task if it's broken up into smaller steps. And, same thing with goal setting. So subtask examples, if you had a task for blogging, you would have subtasks for title your blog for SEO, input keywords and alt text, select a featured image, write social media posts, blog stomp images, and there would be so on and so forth from there. So there's lots of subtasks that go into our workflows as well. The fourth thing we have in our workflows is due dates, and this is hypercritical. We are going to be setting a due date on every single part, task, email, etc., questionnaire in our workflow. Otherwise, there is no deadline, there's no accountability, and there's no way of your CRM to automate things for you. So due dates are super critical, and they help us stay on track and diligent in our performance during projects. The fifth thing is assignee. So this just means if you have people on your team, maybe you have an assistant or an intern or an editor, you make sure that your workflow is very clear of who is going to do what. And this was a problem when I first hired my intern. I didn't have this down. She's now a full-time employee for us, but I did not have this section nailed down in my workflow at all. So there would be many times where she's like, oh, I blog stumped this wedding. I'm like, oh crap, I already blog stumped it, just because our communication wasn't clear. So that is super important to include in your workflow. And then we're also going to have all of these client facing things. So client education, such as emails, blog posts to send clients, or, maybe it's text messages, or really any type of education that we can give our clients, because we know what they need to know as our clients. And so it's our responsibility. I truly believe that is our responsibility to educate them on everything they need to know in order to have a really stress-free and fun wedding day, portrait session, whatever it is you do. So client education is a huge one. And then also just any other email communication with our clients or their friends, their family, our vendors. We're going to build all of that into the workflow, and it's all going to be templated out to save time. And then finally, we also want to include any client documents, such as questionnaires, pricing guides, brochures, wedding guides, any client gifts, and any client meetings during the process. So there's actually a lot of things that go into your workflow. And I'm just going to take a sip of water real quick. So all of these things really build our workflow up to be, like I said, valuable for your clients, but also super valuable for you. I was on a client consult last night for a wedding next year, and I just kept telling her, like, my goal is to make your wedding planning process, even though I'm a photographer, my goal is to make it as stress-free and fun as possible, which means education, gifts, meetings when they need to happen, questionnaires, me doing the timelines and family formal lists for them, and just really being on top of the ball. And if you go through and you look at my page through any testimonials, every single one of my couples over the last 8 years, almost every single one, says something about me being organized, lifting, like they just wholeheartedly trusted me because I was so organized they didn't have to worry about anything. And so that's the benefit for your clients, but the benefit for you is saving so much time as well. So as I go through this process, I'm going to give you an example of going on vacation at the very end, because I think it really will help you envision this for your business, because a lot of times we're doing workflows. They're just in our head. And when we can get them out of our head and into a system, into a CRM, they become literally 10 times faster. You can, I used to spend over, I would say about 100 hours a week running my business. Now I can run my photo business in less than 10 hours a week. The reason that we have a full-time employee is because we have 3 businesses now, and I never would have been able to do those other 2 businesses or do education if I was still spinning my wheels with my photography business. So 8-step process coming at ya. Step 1 is that we need to just write out very simply the sections or stages of our workflow table of contents. So I can't see all the chat because I just want to make sure we stay on time, but I saw a lot of you have like a lead workflow set up and then nothing when they actually get booked. So our table of contents or our sections or stages is going to look something like this. So just imagine you have a Google Doc and you're writing all these sections down. You would have the inquiry process, the booking process, client onboarding, pre-engagement session planning, engagement session, like shooting it, post-engagement session, pre-wedding planning, final wedding planning, shooting the wedding, post-production, album design, and maybe IPS. And so in-person sales. So you would have all these different sections. So in your workbook, I'll map this out and I go way more in depth in this whole thing in the course. The course is like insane. So I'll talk about that later, but that's your step 1, just writing out the table of contents. And then our step 2 is filling in these sections or stages. And so every single section is going to have multiple tasks, subtasks, emails, questionnaires. All of these different pieces of the workflow that we just went over are going to be built into our stages. So if post-production, for example, was the stage or the chapter of your workflow, you may have tasks for culling. So you might have subtasks for cull main gallery, cull for the album, cull for the blog, cull for social media, cull for portfolio. I have a 5-part culling system that I teach that literally changes people's lives. You might have subtasks for editing, subtasks for blogging. You might have emails to the vendors during post-production. So there's going to be lots of different things in every single stage, but not every section is going to have all 12 things. So you're likely not sending a questionnaire during post-production, but you should be sending a questionnaire during the pre-wedding prep. So that's our step 2. Our step 3 is assigning due dates to literally everything. So the common due dates that you can have in a CRM are going to be twofold. I kind of break it up into 2 different sections. You have independent due dates and you have dependent due dates. So an independent one would be something that really does not revolve around something else needing to happen. So this could be, maybe it has one thing, like you need to book the wedding. That is, everything is dependent on that, or book the session. But you may send a welcome gift 10 days after the project starts, or you might send a questionnaire 4 months before the wedding date. So those are both dependent. You don't necessarily need to have other things being a domino before those things can happen. So that's what I call an independent due date. So in your CRM, this is going to look like, it'll literally be worded like before or after project date, or when the workflow is activated. The second type of task is a dependent due date. And this is going to be more like your domino effect. So one domino falls, other ones get completed. So in your CRM, this might look like it'll literally say, when a previous task is complete, or once contract is signed, once questionnaire is filled out. And so I'll actually show you guys that in Honeybook. Let me just kind of show you in the workflow tool. We're going to go down to a 2020 workflow. And if I go down to create a task, I'm going to make this a little bigger. Hold on. You can see I have all these due dates for after activating the workflow, before or after the project date, after a previous step is complete, after a contract is signed, questionnaire is submitted, invoice, first payment, etc. So these are all the different due dates you can have. And really, in simplest terms, it comes down to a dependent or independent due date. So that's our step 3. We want to map out what every single due date is for every task, every subtask, every email, every questionnaire. And then our step 4 is determining who does what. So once you have this workflow written out, I always recommend starting in a Google Doc. Super easy. Do that way before you get into your CRM. You're going to go through and figure out who can do what. What can you outsource? What can you delegate to somebody on your team? Can you hire a subcontractor? So very simply, when I first started creating my workflow, I actually did it on paper the first time back in 2015. And I just used color-coded highlighters. I think I still have. I literally just bought a whole pack of Sharpie colored highlighters. I love colored markers. And so I just went through my lined piece of paper and I color-coded who was going to do what. And so the things that I now outsource in my business, I outsource editing for the main gallery. So I usually do the blog edits. My assistant does all the blog formatting, all of the album design. She does timelines and family formal lists. And the reason she's able to do all these things is because we have a full system that was very easy to train somebody on. And she was literally able to complete an entire wedding her first week working with me, and she had no background in photography. So she was actually a graphic design major, had an associate's degree in graphic design, and I gave her our system. It's actually printed in a binder of what to do, when to do, how to do everything. And she was able to take my memory cards and do every single thing for the wedding. And so all I had to do was review the edits. So that is our step 4, is determining who does what. Our step 5 is determining where subtasks and tasks can be made more efficient. So once you have this checklist foundation of your workflow, you can go through it to see where everything can be made more efficient. So there's going to be some questions in your workbook that I ask that will help you prompt your thinking. So number 1, can you create email templates to make certain client correspondence go faster? Number 2, can somebody else do it for you? Number 3, can you create a blogging template, a newsletter template, an editing preset, an export preset, an import preset? Really templatize everything in your business. Are there softwares, apps, or automations that can help you eliminate busy work? Are there keyboard shortcuts or program shortcuts or just softwares in general that can help you speed things up? Or are there ways to batch your tasks or your days together so you can do similar tasks all at once, because that'll really skyrocket your productivity. So one thing you guys will notice if you join me inside the course is that I am productivity expert. I love productivity. There's an entire vault about productivity things and time management and weekly planning, because when you can combine workflow and systems with productivity and efficiency, it is just a complete game changer. And like I said, if I were to give my husband a checklist of what to do, like, okay, honey, here's the workflow, everything you need to do. If he didn't know how to do it efficiently, he would still struggle. And so this is a very important part of creating workflows, is figuring out how to make everything more efficient. And that's what I teach head to toe, tip to tail, A to Z in the course, is how I do everything as quick as humanly possible, but not just quick, efficient as humanly possible. So that's our step 5. Our step 6 is where all of this client experience and value comes into play. And so, and Irene, yes, I would definitely say a website is essential for a photography business. You need a place where people can contact you and see your work and all of that. So our step 6 here is going to be adding value throughout every single stage of this client experience. So just gleaning what you know about marketing. The question here and the action item here is, where can you add client touch points in every section of your process to bring more value, better your client's experience, or make a personal connection? So in your workbook, I have these questions as well, but just to prompt your thinking in case you guys have any ideas right now, I want you to think of where you can add client touch points throughout every single stage. So that's why our step 1 is super important. Step 1 actually doesn't get translated into your CRM, but it's very beneficial to A, build your workflows in like little micro chunks, and B, it's really helpful for getting this step into every single stage. So I want you guys to think about your inquiry process and where you can add better client touch points throughout the inquiry process, where you can add good marketing with your clients, where can you surprise and delight your clients, what questions can you answer to make their experience better, what parts of your workflow do you have little communication with them, and how can you reach out and stay top of mind, or how can you wow them? So that's that table of contents I created for you guys when I was talking about step 1, the inquiry, booking, onboarding, pre-session planning, session, post-session, pre-wedding, wedding, post-wedding, album, and IPS. We want to go through every single one of those stages and figure out how to wow our clients in every single stage. And I will give some examples of this in, actually, I'll give you an example now. So me and my husband, like I said, we got married in June. We had a micro wedding. We had 20 people. We were supposed to have 200. We got engaged in December 2018. And the only vendor that I have heard from between booking and actually having our wedding was our photographer. And our photographer actually did not even come up to shoot our wedding because of quarantine laws, and she couldn't travel. She's in Georgia. So my friend actually shot our micro wedding, but we did not hear from a single vendor in, 18 or 19 months. And so literally to me, I felt like we were just a paycheck to them. And I could get on a soapbox about this. I won't go too much, but like, if you guys aren't communicating and giving value to your clients throughout the entire process of working with them, you are solely relying on your portfolio to book clients. And if you are, yes, Joy said, this is the difference between getting the referral or not. And when you don't have this built into your workflow to easily do, like client experience is so much more than gifting. If you don't have this built into your workflow, you have a huge leaky hole in your bucket that is causing you to lose referrals. And like I shared in the beginning, I don't share numbers to brag or anything. I share, I've booked over $300,000 in referrals and have not paid for advertising in 6 years now. And that is solely because there is client experience from the second somebody inquires, not even just, they sign the contract and they've actually paid me. I am giving a valuable client experience throughout the entire stage. And I'm gonna get on the client experience soapbox again in a little bit, but that is our step 6. So in the workbook, there's going to be some questions that you can ask yourself to start thinking of ideas for your own workflow. And then our step 7 is to automate and input the workflow into your CRM or task management system. And I'm going to show you the back end of this in a little bit, so I won't go too in depth here. And our final step is writing an actual procedure manual. So I'm going to just give you an example of this vacation analogy that I mentioned, and I'll drive it home with this final step. So if we were going on vacation, tell me honestly, if you have ever showed up to the airport with an empty bag and just said, I want a ticket to anywhere, please. I don't think anybody would necessarily do that. So we essentially really have a workflow for going on vacation, but we kind of just do it in our heads, or we do it very haphazardly or unorganized. So if we were going on vacation, we have our step 1. I'm going to go back to the slides and walk through it. Our step 1 is the sections or stages of our workflow. So our vacation workflow, we would have planning the vacation, packing for vacation, a travel day. The actual vacation itself is a whole section of the workflow, traveling home, and unpacking and laundry and all those not so fun sections of vacation. So that's our step 1, right? We have all these different chapters of this vacation workflow. We don't just show up to the airport and ask to go somewhere with no bags packed, usually. Our step 2 would be filling in the stages. So what do you need to do for the planning phase? You would have tasks to pick a destination, pick a season, pick who you're going with, decide on a budget, decide on a hotel. So you have all these different tasks. Maybe you have to send emails if you're working with a travel agent. You might have, an internal questionnaire. You're not actually sending, friends or a spouse a questionnaire most likely, but you and your spouse or your friends or whoever you're going on vacation with, you're going to ask each other questions back and forth to determine what your best destination is. So you have all these different things you're putting into each section of your vacation planning process. And then our step 3, assigning due dates. You obviously need to know when you're going, when to go to the airport, what time, when you're coming home, when you're staying at the hotel, all of those things. And then you need to also communicate, if you're going with multiple people, who is actually going to do what. So In 2 weeks, we're going up to Maine to Acadia National Park with 2 of our best friends and just gonna escape in a little sea cottage. And, we were communicating back and forth of like, all right, who's gonna book the Airbnb? Who's gonna book the kayaks? Who's gonna book the excursions? Who's gonna do all of that? And so you really need to determine who's doing what if you are going on vacation. And if we were going on vacation, we want to make sure that we're getting there usually as quick as possible, unless you're doing a road trip. So are you going to take a nonstop flight versus somewhere that's going to connect 3 times? Are you going to fly instead of drive? And so there is all these different ways to think about how to do things more efficiently. And then if we were going on vacation, I love step 6, thinking of going up to the counter to check in for your flight, and United or Southwest or Delta, or whoever you fly with, being like, oh my gosh, Laura, you just got upgraded to first class. And so that is the experience we want to also give to our clients. And so step 7, I always say, when we put our workflows into a CRM, this is when we can actually go on vacation. And yes, good luck, Kayla, on your phone call. And so step 7 allows us to go on vacation by automating and putting our workflow into a CRM. And step 8 would be your procedure manual. So if you were to come home and your best friend was like, oh my gosh, Joy, Laura, whatever your name is, insert your name here. If you were to come home and your best friend is like, oh my gosh, your vacation literally looked so incredible. I loved following along on Instagram stories or whatever it was. I need to know where you stayed, how long you stayed for, what season to go in, what to pack, all of these things. And you're like, okay, hold on. I will create an itinerary for you. I'll create, this master plan for you. I'll tell you where we stayed, how long, what to pack. I'll give you, the whole nitty gritty of everything. And so you start a Google Doc for your best friend and you give them this document of everything to do to have the exact same vacation experience you did. That is essentially a procedure manual. And that is like your optional step 8, but highly recommended if you are going to ever consider starting a team. You really need to write out processes so that your team can follow, or your intern or your assistant, anybody can follow these processes so that when you step out of the office, your business doesn't also stop. So that's our 8-step process. And if you are wondering what types of workflows you can create, a bunch of them would be photography processes, blogging, newsletter writing, emails, answering leads, social media routines, editing videos, big one for Joy with her YouTube channel, or hosting Facebook Lives. And I want to show you the power of this with one of my course students, Sarah. She has been in the course since the very beginning. She's done literally every piece of education I've ever done. And Sarah had one wedding booked in June when I started my course. And she was literally, like I said, one of the first students to go through the course. She had one wedding in June, and by the first week of December, she had 17 weddings booked. And she said, not to mention all the time it saved me already. It takes me 5 minutes to send 5 perfectly timed follow-up emails that brides actually read, and in result, book me within days. I'm about to start to implement the rest of it, and I'm fully prepared for a huge rise in client referrals next year. And so this was back in 2017 or 2018, I think, when I started teaching this course. So she basically implemented the inquiry workflow and went from 1 to 17 weddings in, 6 months. And so I recently spoke with Sarah. She's eloping in Maine in 2 weeks. And I recently caught up with her. She's literally now one of my best friends. We literally met through my course. I'm going to her bachelorette party. I'm going to see her elope, like one of 15 people going to her wedding. And so we literally met through my course and a free Zoom chat that I was doing. And so I caught up with her, and she said to me on the phone, and I was like, you need to email me exactly what you just said. So she said, Now that it's all done and my business is a fine-tuned, well-oiled machine, it quite literally feels like I'm living in a state of blissful ecstasy. It feels strange to only need to work 2 days a week and be taking in a revenue of $85K plus a year, all while my clients are being educated, served well, and in a timely manner. Now, my biggest question to Laura is what's next, because I have all the time to dream and chase a whole new goal while easily managing my current one. And this is like literally my favorite testimonial of all time. Like, my goal is to get you guys more balance in your life, get you guys booking clients, making some kick-ass revenue, and have time to dream and not just go through the motions of your business and get stuck in all of this client work. And so we're going to do now is we are going to assess your score. So this is going to be in that file section. So I'm still sharing the file, the workflow workshop checklist. So if you need to download that, feel free, but we're going to assess our score for part 1. I call this my hot mess assessment. So throughout this whole thing, we're going to be grading ourselves on this 46-point assessment. So for each checklist item that I say, you get 1 point. And then I want you guys to tell me in the comments what your score is for this section. So like I said, the more interactive this is, the more fun it is for me, more helpful it is for you to actually see and acknowledge the places we can improve in our business. So 1 point each. Number 1, you have a written workflow for every client project type you do in your business, including inquiries and booked workflows, post-production, album design, and in-person sales if you do IPS. 1 point if you have your workflow built into your client management system. 1 point if you have due dates that are in all of your workflows and in your CRM, so that inside your CRM, you get a daily task list for what you need to get done across all projects every day. 1 point if you have your inquiry and booking process down to a T. So when clients inquire, consults are set up quickly, a follow-up system is in place for people who don't answer, and your bookings are where you want them to be. 1 point if you know every email and questionnaire you need to send and task to complete for each project and when to complete them by. 1 point if you can handle upwards of 100 clients at a time with ease. I actually just did another webinar with a friend, and she said she has 106 projects in Honeybook, and she's managing them so easily because of the workflows that we set up inside her CRM. 1 point if your workflows are consistent and repeatable for every client. 1 is if you not only have a workflow, but you know how to do it efficiently. 1 if you have tremendous value for your clients throughout. And 1 if you can deliver weddings in a week or portrait sessions in a matter of hours. So yeah, so we have 1. Sarah's at 1. Roseanne, my CRM is Honeybook. Megan has 1. Sarah has 1. We have 2 points for Janine. And awesome. Okay, awesome. 2, 0, 2.5, 2. I'm going to keep seeing them. 3. Awesome, Tony. Okay, perfect. So hold on 1 sec. I'm going to, just in case you guys do need to leave early, I wouldn't normally do this because we have more content, but in case anybody does have to leave early and you're just like, oh shoot, like I have 0 or 1 point, like I definitely need more help with all of this. If you have to leave and you want to check out the course, I'm going to just throw the link in the chat box, but we're going to keep going. We have 4 more sections, but I don't want you to miss out on really awesome bonus that I created with Joy, and also just like an amazing, amazing course. We are literally so proud of it. My friends say like, I love how much you love your course. And I'm just like, it changes lives. And so if you need to leave early, I just want to throw that link in the chat for you. So we have 202. So most we have here is 3. And you guys, that just means you are in the right place. And there is so much exciting room for improvement. And like, call me crazy, but like, I love growing as a person, as a business owner. I love business development, personal development. So you are in the right place. We're going to get you to a 10. And so that is my goal. So we have one. Irene said you do everything yourself, write all emails, edit all images in Lightroom. Yeah, Irene, we all definitely start there, all start in that same place of really doing everything ourselves. But the benefit is, even if I did every single thing in my business myself, when you do it efficiently, it does not need to run your life, right? And something we're going to talk about in a little bit is that when your capacity is maxed out, you also don't have the ability to bring in more income. And so Julie said, yeah, it's all in your head. And so now we're going to jump into part 2. And in this section, I'm going to jump into the back end and show you guys inside my handybook, inside my project management system. It's going to be really freaking cool. So very excited. So part 2 is essential organizational systems that every business owner needs. And we're going to chat real briefly about why disorganization and a lack of systems and consistency is costing you time, money, and your sanity. So, number one, very obviously, I think, is that inefficiencies waste your time. You end up having to possibly hire out tasks because you can't keep up with the amount of work you have, when in reality, you may not even need to hire out if you were just working more efficiently. This actually came up in conversation last night with my husband. He's an architect, and their company, they're doing really, really well this quarter. They have 18 architects on their architecture department team, and they are doing as much or more work than a similar company who one of the directors of my husband's company used to work for this other company, and that company is doing the same revenue with 45 full-time architects, and my husband's company is doing the same amount of work with 18 full-time architects. And so really crazy. There's literally spending triple on payroll because their systems are not efficient. And so not only does inefficiencies waste your time, but it also wastes a lot of money, because you not only are paying out because you can't fit anything else. So I'll talk about that in a second, but you also cap the amount of work you can take on because you can't physically fit anything else in. And a really crazy stat that I read was that disorganized employees who earn $50,000 annually foster companies an additional $11,000 in lost time because of disorganization. So I want to really drive this home, and I'm going to show an example or share an example of one of my students as well. But this quote is just, I think, all encapsulating of what we're talking about. Your growth as a business owner, as a person, as a wife, as a dad, as a husband, like whatever you are, whatever your title is, your growth as a person and as a business is inhibited when your capacity is maxed out. You cannot grow your business if you cannot take on more than 20 weddings a year, because it takes you all year to complete those 20 weddings. You cannot grow as a friend, as a mom, as a wife, whatever your title is, again, if your capacity is maxed out, if you are burnt out, if you don't have any more time to give, if your jar is full. So your growth is inhibited when your capacity is maxed out. And I have a crazy example of this. One of my students, she is unbelievable. She's a portrait photographer in New Jersey. And when we started working together, when she joined my course, she joined my retreat as well. She had a Christmas mini session event where she did 50 sessions a year. And she was like, all right, cool. Like I make, about, I think she was doing $100 per session. They were like 5 or 10 minute sessions. And she said, okay, I'm making like $5,000 in a weekend. That's awesome. But she really wanted to scale. But she said she literally could not, capacity wise, get more than 50 sessions done. So we went on the back end. We streamlined all of her created workflows. She didn't have any workflows. She's been in business 12 years now. Didn't have a single workflow, no systems, no help. So we created workflows, we created systems, we made every single part of this efficient, organized, and streamlined. And now, this is so mind-blowing. She runs a Christmas mini session event with 1,200 mini sessions over the course of 1 month. So she has 4 kids. She is now bringing in, Joy, what is correct? She's now bringing in over 6 figures during the month of November on this mini session event. And last year, she was able to deliver all 1,200 sessions in a matter of 9 days and have their Christmas cards ordered. And so she went, Yana, Tara. So she spends a lot of time with doing all of this prep work, not saying she just works in November, right? She's spending so much time actually creating set design. And so she spends months of the year doing this, but she was going from 50, I think 1,200 was her goal for this year. I don't know if COVID will allow her to have it this year. But she was able to shoot 800 last year, I believe. So I actually went to it. It was an amazing event. And so she is able to bring on a team. She had 15 photographers now. She was able to manage it. And so this just really drives home the point that she was capping herself at 50 because her capacity was maxed out. And so that is really the goal of having these workflows and systems is if you want to grow, if you want to take more on, you are able to, or you can do the same amount of work while working less. Kind of twofold win-win here. And this other, I love this GIF. This is a great example of another girl I had talked to. She was a portrait photographer doing 4 sessions a year. She had a very unique portrait business. And she told me that she was hiring an editor, a studio manager, and a virtual assistant, and that she was taking 4 weeks to get back to inquiries. And I was like, oh my God, you're literally going to throw thousands of dollars out the window because you actually don't need any of this. And she, wasted a lot of money hiring people when in reality, all she had to do was become more efficient. So being efficient and scaling your business, I want you to write this down. I don't know if I have this written in the workbook, but this is a really important quote here. Being efficient and scaling your business is all about taking on more work without doing more work. Can I get an amen? Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, Carissa, so there's an assessment. There's a little file. I just saw your message. There's a little file being shared in the little files tab. Just download the assessment. And as I go through each section, we're just assessing our score for each section. So there is a 10-point, and then, so I just wanted to make sure I answered your question. And Yana, when Yana knows Tara, obviously, and you said when you saw her posting, she was like, what? Did she mistype the number? So crazy. So really insane. So being efficient is all about scaling your business and taking on more work without doing more work. And these are just some really awesome results from my students. I had one mom of 3 go from working 60 hours a week to 15 to 20 hours a week. I had a student go from delivering weddings in 4 to 7 weeks down to 1 week, and a student edit 2 weddings in a day. Everybody spending more time with their kids, spouses, friends, family, and on self-care, and go from burnt out to balanced and 12x the amount of bookings that they took on. That was Tara. And so the 2 super important systems that every business owner needs, and I need to take some water, is client management and task management. So client management is going to be your Honeybook, Dubsado, 17 Hats, Tave, all of these things. And if you are not maximizing this, then you're leaving lots of time on the table. But this is going to be the place where literally everything for your client should live. Your contracts, your invoices, your payment schedules, questionnaires, emails for your clients, project files, and having your business set up in a CRM like HoneyBook or another CRM, me and Joy both use HoneyBook, is going to ensure that nothing is slipping through the cracks if you have it set up correctly and if you are maximizing it. And you're able to take on, grow, and expand your business because of how much easier it is to manage projects, and it's an all-in-one solution. So you finally don't have to use dozens of different tools for contracts and invoicing and all of that. And so in HoneyBook, I'm going to show you the back end. You can take this workflow that we're going to delete this a second. You can take this workflow that we created, and you are going to, so you would create this in a Google Doc, right? And then you're going to put all of it in HoneyBook for basically, or your CRM, whatever your CRM is. So you're essentially going to have an action, a title or a template, and then a due date and a trigger. And so your action is either going to be create a task, send a questionnaire, send an email, or send a brochure. So if I changed this to say send questionnaire, it would come up with all of my questionnaire template options. And then you're going to set a due date. So my first task once somebody books is to send a proposal, payment schedule, invoice, and contract. And that is 0 days after activating the workflow. 1 day after, we get the signed contract and retainer. We send an email, thank you for booking with me, what's next, vendor recommendations, band recommendations, and so on and so forth. So this is my booking section. Then we have our onboarding section. We have the pre-engagement session prep all right here. And it goes through all of these stages. And so if you go down to the bottom, really all you have to do once you have this Google Doc is you copy paste your workflow over into your CRM. And this is where you add your actions, and then you just drag them into the order that they need to go. So obviously you want to put them in order. You don't want to be, starting at 60 and then going up to 2. So you want to write them down in order, which is why I always recommend starting with a Google Doc. And you're just going to pick your action, pick your due date, and if it's an actual something that has a template attached, if your action is send email, you're going to want to go through and you're going to pick your email template. And then you're going to pick your action, pick your actual due date, and pick your approval. So you can either set it to approve before sending or send automatically. And that, let me delete that. That is essentially the workflow tool in the shortest amount of time possible that I can do. I know you guys don't have all day to hang out with me, but inside my course, Photography Workflow Mastery, we have an entire vault explaining how to use every single tool in your CRM. It's technically a HoneyBook vault, but all of it translates to almost every single CRM. They all have very, very similar setups. And so you actually also get access to my wedding workflow, portrait workflow, album design workflow, brand workflow, all 8 of my questionnaires for weddings, portraits, newborns, family. And you have the option to get 110 of my email templates with the course as well. So you literally get everything in the course. Today, obviously, we're going through how to do all of that. And then the course will show you, we're basically going through 2 videos of the course today because it is robust. So once you have these workflows created, so you'll see the X's are just my old workflows I haven't deleted, but I have active wedding album workflow, brand inquiry, wedding inquiry, portrait inquiry, and then wedding booked, brand booked, portrait booked, engagement session with a wedding, which means I'm doing their wedding and engagement, or just a solo engagement, a workflow upsell, and then these are from all of my from all of these when I keep creating workflows on these demonstrations. And so you'll see I have maybe I think it's about 9 active workflows in here, and that's powerful, right? But what happens is this task management section. So when your workflows are all activated on every single project, you can go through and like let me know, just put a wow in the comments if this is news to you that your CRM can do this. So it'll tell you exactly what you have to do across every single client. So tomorrow I have a brand session, and Honeybook knows because of my workflow that one day before the project date, I need to charge my camera, my flash batteries, clean my camera equipment for the session. So I actually do have to do that. So I'm not going to check that off yet. And I can see every single task, every email, every follow-up, every questionnaire. So this is all going to be really what I need to do. And if I click on something, my email template's already going to be attached. So for Jason and Alyssa's wedding, I have a task to check in with the couple. So I can hit view edit, and my email template will be right there. And I'll just say, hi, Jason and Alyssa, and send. So their emails are there. I can hit approve and send. And that is done. And now, one task is gone. And so I can go through. So I have people to follow up with, people to ask testimonials for. So I can literally go through at the click of a button. I don't have to write out any emails because my templates are done. And like I said, you can get these with my course, and I can now send that to Allie and Joe, whose micro wedding I just did. I can send this off to Caitlin and Kyle, whose wedding I just did, and I can, send them whatever templates I need, whatever questionnaires I need. So I literally just got like multiple tasks done. I know this is already done. My gear is packed for Lexi's session. I had a consult with them yesterday, and so I can just go through and know exactly what to do across every single client in there. So when you have dozens of projects, your brain doesn't have to think at all about what you have to do. So right now there's orange means it's overdue. Right now we have a lot of overdue stuff because people are still in limbo picking rescheduling dates. So we're just kind of on hold of doing all of the tasks in there. And so that's really what the back end of Honeybook looks like. And I just want to see your questions here. Okay. Yeah, Allison, making everything specific is awesome. Yeah, Chris, the course includes my workflow templates for literally everything. My wedding inquiry, wedding booked, portrait inquiry, portrait booked, and my album design. And I'll actually show you guys exactly what that looks like. We have more sections to go through, but I'll actually show you guys what that looks like if that's helpful to visualize this. So we have my master template here, and I'll also show you guys what the email templates look like, because I definitely think it helps to view what that looks like. So we'll take a second to load the Google Doc, but essentially it's broken up. So we have our wedding inquiry workflow, and I have every single task, email, everything written out. So these titles of the email will match my email templates document if you guys choose to join the course and get those email templates. So it'll have the exact task, the due date, the emails, the questionnaires, everything that needs to go out. And all of my questionnaire templates come with the course. These workflow master templates come with the course. And then we go into the booked workflow. So it goes from everything from sending the proposal all the way, like all my client education emails are also included. So it continues, it goes into post-production, album design, and so on. So you get wedding inquiry booked, portrait inquiry booked, and album design. And then if you guys choose to join, you can also get all 110 of my email templates for wedding photography, portrait photography, all my client education emails for weddings, and album design emails, all for $97. So it's actually 110 emails. You can get it as an add-on to the course. And this is how they are written out. So The blue highlight literally means you only have to change it once. Red goes in the template so that you can insert, whatever specific info you need to. So it's every single email in the entire workflow is included in these templates, including every educational email that I send my clients. So yes, Chris, that is all included. And okay, so Irene said, how long did it take you to set up the Honeybook with all the pre-written emails? So if you, well, obviously writing the emails takes a lot of time. So if you get the course and the emails, you're going to be saving, I don't know how long it takes to write email templates, but I would say you're going to save 50 hours probably just writing email templates, since there's 110 email templates and some of them are pretty long. So once you have them, you can literally transfer 110 email templates. It's just copy paste from a Google Doc. So you could literally do it in like 2 or 3 hours once you actually have the email templates. And so, Amanda, I'm glad this is making you feel like so much weight is being lifted. Janine said, does the process for churning out weddings in a week's time require that you outsource in order to make it work? No. So what is really cool, Janine, is in my post-production workflow, we actually have it color-coded. So I say up at the top in my workflow, it says pink text means you will only be doing these steps if you do not outsource editing, but these are things I recommend outsourcing to an editor. So it's actually broken down with a recommended editing workflow of what to edit on each day to still get your weddings delivered in a week or less. And so it breaks it up into things that are most likely in the same lighting scenario, all your reception together, and I actually teach exactly how I cull, edit, and prep my Lightroom in order to do this very, very quickly. And so I don't like editing full galleries. I could do it. I did edit a full, all my micro weddings. They were still 9-hour days. I edited them all in a day. Was super, super easy. Obviously, shooting better helps that as well, like shooting consistently with your white balance and exposure. But yeah, it's broken up so that if you do all the editing yourself, it tells you exactly what to do on any given day. So even if you don't, that is all there for you. Okay, let me see what else. Questions? Carissa, there will be a replay and you'll get an email for it. It'll go to the email that you signed up with. And there will be a website to access the replay, so both. And Amanda said, what if? Amanda, if you already have my email templates, you can I will happily refund you the amount. So I can refund you $150 so that you can just get the masterclass. You can purchase the email templates, and then I can actually refund your whole email template purchase if you already purchased the full bundle at $247. Because if you were to get all of the email templates on my shop in a bundle, it's $247. So obviously you'll save way more. With getting them with the course. And Allison said, how much contact with clients is too much, specifically with weddings? So I personally reach out about once a month, Allison, and I'm going to actually cover that in the next section. So I'm going to fly through this next system and we'll jump into client experience. Sorry, I get so derailed and excited in the comment section, but I'm going to keep going. And Allison, I'll give you an example. I have a restaurant example for this. And actually, I have a new example because we had a date night on Sunday that plays into this as well. But I will share that in a minute. So that's our first system. Moral of the story, this is our first system, is client management. So we definitely need one. Highly recommend, even if you're just starting out, having a client management system. The second one is called, there's a lot of different names for these, but it's essentially a project and task management system. So this is going to be something like Trello or Asana or ClickUp. I use ClickUp, and it's something to manage all of your weekly to-dos. It's essentially the replacement for all of your Post-it notes and notebooks. I still use a notebook. So what I do is I transfer from here onto my planner every day. But essentially, I have my weekly plan board written out for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I have my whole plan or my whole week planned out right now. And this is how I track every single thing I need to do in my business that isn't necessarily related to client work. I also track literally my grocery list in here, house chores, like everything. And what's cool is you can set things to repeat as well. So, and I can just check it off. So I sent Alexis everything. I caught up with Slack messages. And so if I need to, I can, this is just a friend. So I can set something, a due date. I can assign it to myself. I can set a priority. I can set things to repeat every week if I need to. So this is how we track everything in our business that any priority. So our whole team has a weekly plan. And then since mine's going to look a little more complex than most people would, but it is really, really helpful to have this in your business because maybe this is the Enneagram 7 in me, but I have so many ideas. There's so many tasks I want to do. Like there's just a lot of internal projects you do in your business, or maybe even just with financial tasks or bookkeeping, accounting, stuff like that we have to do. There's just a lot to keep track of. I think that's why 17 Hats got the name 17 Hats, because we are spinning so many plates at once. And so this system, so this is ClickUp, it's free, which is awesome. It hosts every single thing that I do in my business. So literally my whole brain is inside ClickUp, and this actually got moved. So I'm just going to close that off. And inside you'll essentially see, it's kind of like my analogy is like it's a file box. So this whole thing is your cabinet, and you can have different drawers for all of your projects. So we have our drawers set up by month, and inside the drawer, we have a folder for whatever's the priority. So me and my team all know that the August projects, so I have Laura Lee Photography albums that are happening in August, Laura Lee Photography sessions. So I actually do put post-production in here just because it's easier to delegate in here to a team than Honeybook. And then I have my other business, Find Your Freedom. We have a membership site. And then we have just like miscellaneous Laura Lee creative tasks. So we have this JV webinar with Joy. So I think we literally have 2 tasks in here, like replay video upload for Joy's webinar and manually add skyrocket bonus to the webinar. So you can see it's assigned to people, it has due dates. And so if I want to view everything that I need to do or everything the team needs to do, I can go in here, go to everything. I can sort by my tasks. I can sort by due date, by priority, by status. So even if you're the only person running your business right now and there's nobody else with you, it's so amazing to have your entire brain all in one place so that things don't slip through the cracks. And this, oh my gosh, it skyrockets my productivity. And I teach all of this in the course as well, of exactly how I set it up. I teach my weekly planning process, my daily planning process, how to have maximum efficiency and productivity throughout your days. I've been studying productivity for at least 6 years now. So that is like my jam. I'm always like, how can I be more efficient in my business so I can have more freedom in my life? That is always my goal. So I teach all of this inside the course in depth as well, because it's a lot to go through. But what happens is I know across every single project where people are at. And so if I go into my Kelly brand session thing, we did her Instagram stories today. I'm always like delivering sessions way before I even post on social media, and we scheduled Instagram posts as well. So now I can click here and I can archive Kelly's project. And so I can look in any single project and see what needs to be done for that project. And so you can create workflows in here, or templates, priorities. I know that my assistant and my mom are working on Sarah and Ashton's album today. I just got a text from Kiss, so I believe they just ordered it. So now they can just go in and mark that complete if they need to. And they can check these off because those are both done. And it's able to just track everything of exactly where you are. So this is going to be really similar in some cases to having a workflow inside your CRM. The only reason that we have albums and post-production in here is because I don't usually work on those. Like, there's multiple people working on it. So you can see my mom actually does all of our album design. She loves album design. So she does all of that for us. And then we also have post-production templates in here. And you guys will get access to my post-wedding workflow and post-session workflow specifically for ClickUp as well, or Asana or Trello, whichever one you decide you want to use, if any, or you can put in Honeybook or CRM, Dubsado, 17 Hats, wherever you want to put it. But you'll get access to my templates in Google Doc form to just literally copy paste over here so you can track. So you can kind of see Sydney does a lot of tasks here. I do a lot of tasks. So it's just easier to delegate in ClickUp. And since post-production is a very short time frame, I like doing it in here versus Honeybook. I would never do anything pre-session or pre-wedding in ClickUp because I have, I think, 58 active wedding photography clients in there right now. And there's no communication inside ClickUp. There's no contracts. It's very different than a CRM. It's literally just the place where all of your action items go. And so this is my second system for like extreme organization that you should have inside your business. And like I said, it's my whole brain in one place. Joy, I don't know if you use Asana or something like that, but oh, Lynn, I'm so excited. Lynn just joined the course. I'm so pumped. Oh yeah, Joy uses Notion. So something like this to track everything you have to do. So that's our really important system, number 2 for organization. And I'm just going to skip through those slides because I went into ClickUp instead. But we are going to assess our score for part 2. So Carissa, if you are still on, this is where we're scoring with the numbers and everything. And I can answer your question at the end as well. Okay, cool. Amanda, Microsoft To Do. Yeah, I think that's a little less robust as far as like organization goes. So it's more of just like a to-do list, checklist. I might be wrong, but it's hard to set priorities on it when there's like less organization. But we're going to assess our part 2 assessment because this is going to be like organization on steroids. So 1 point, and Carissa, if you just listen and follow along, you'll get a point for each of these. And we are assessing this time on a score of 0 to 8. So 1 point if you use a task management system such as Asana, Trello, Notion, ClickUp, or something similar to manage internal non-client business tasks and maybe even personal tasks. 1 point if you feel confident with your organizational skills and task management. 1 point if you feel like you are a master at time management and prioritizing tasks. 1 point if you know a plan for exactly what you want to accomplish and how long it'll take on any given day. 1 point if you have a place to house all your ideas, projects, tasks, and future tasks or projects. 1 point if you don't feel scattered when it comes to managing the other aspects of running your business. 1 if you have a weekly and daily planning system to keep you on track. And 1 if your task management system allows you to grow your business instead of just maintain your business. And hold on, I need to take a sip of water. Oh, cool. Awesome, Amanda. I did not know that they did that. Perfect. So let me know here. Victoria has a 3, 2 for Kayla. Oh my God, talking so much. for Bianca. Krista, 3, 1, 3, 4. Awesome. Okay, cool. Lynn's at a 4. Perfect. All right. So one thing, this is so cool to me. Karen is she's one of my first students that joined in 2018 as well. She has 5 kids. So she has a lot going on. And I loved her testimonial. She said, this was just on module 3. So she said, holy smokes, this stuff is golden. I'm trying not to be overwhelmed with my current lack of organization, but can't wait to get into this and put it to work for me. I'm so thankful to have a renewed desire to be productive and get organized. Even though I'm only on module 3, I have put things into place to get important stuff done at the beginning of the week and leave flex time later in the week in case things come up and I need to move things around because, I have 5 kids. This week, I finished my blog post for the week, all my social media posts, delivered a gallery, called 2 weddings, and got set up with Tailwind for Pinterest for a whole month. I think that was just by Wednesday. Today, I woke up sick, so I'm relaxing on the couch instead of pushing through work that needs to be done. I do have sessions the next 3 nights and going to try to power through, but other than that, I know the important stuff is done for the week. And so that, to me, is just so freaking awesome. And if you need I'm not going to go into it too much yet, but if you still want to check out the course, I know the chat box has gone crazy, so I'll link that there and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But our part 3, and this is going to answer who was this? Allison's question here is the client experience leaky hole. And so I'm going to go through why your client experience is costing you referrals and therefore money. Somebody also asked, is ClickUp free? Yes, it is. And so I like to talk about client experience, like the 7 love languages of client experience. You have communication, organization, which alleviates stress, education, service, gifting, quality time, and relationships. So some gifts here and an example with a restaurant. So part of this leaky hole problem is the inquiry process. And I love my friend's gifts. So this one of Joey is when he tries to be a waiter and Ross asks for coffee, but Joey never brings it. And to me, this is equivalent to a bad inquiry process where so many photographers spend so much time marketing their business, then they have trouble actually closing their inquiry. And this could be from taking too long to get back to a client, sending an email that doesn't connect, or not standing out in a saturated market with their process. And so as we were going through those 8 steps in the workflow process, it's really helpful to go through to see where you can start plugging these holes in your inquiry process, your onboarding, your booking. And so this might look like creating follow-up emails or a video or phone call or sending a text to an inquiry, giving them an easy scheduling link. And so what I want to do here is compare these 2 restaurants. These are both true stories, literally. Restaurant A is where we went on Sunday, and restaurant B is where me and my husband went for our 8-year anniversary. So dating anniversary. And so restaurant A takes forever to bring your water. They have no fluffy warm rolls on the table. It takes a really long time to get seated and get menus. The waiter or waitress has to constantly be flagged down to get more water, drinks, utensils, napkins, etc. They don't check on you to see how your food is doing ever. And they take forever to get the food once you actually order it. So true story, we had a reservation for 7:30, didn't get seated till 7:45. They never brought us menus. We had to ask for the menus. We had to ask for water and rolls, like literally had to ask for water. The table next to us never got their water, rolls, or appetizers that they ordered. The waiter never came by to ask how the food was. And this was like a fancy restaurant, you guys. We were like, all right, awesome date night. We had a gift card from our micro wedding. And so it was, beautiful. The food was delicious. But am I going to go rave about this to all of my friends? No, because our experience was lackluster. It does not matter what your final product is if the experience doesn't match it. So, AKA, it does not matter how beautiful your photos are. People will not refer you if you didn't have a great experience the entire time. Restaurant B, on the other hand, is where we went for our 8-year anniversary. And the example would be that this restaurant educates you on the menu and the wine. So they tell you what goes best with your entree. They have fluffy warm rolls on the table. They immediately bring you to your seat and it already has your water filled. They fill your water and wine as soon as it's starting to get low without you ever needing to ask. They check in on you frequently and how you're doing, how you're enjoying the food, if they can get you anything else. And they might even surprise you like they did us with a free dessert at the end of the night because you happened to mention it was your anniversary when you made the reservation 3 months prior. And so these two restaurants, they might have the equivalent in delicious food, but you better believe I have told all of my friends that they need to go to the French restaurant in Montclair, and I have told nobody about the restaurant that we went to the other day on Sunday. I know it's only Tuesday, but we had such a great experience at restaurant B. And how this translates to your business is we want to give client education because your clients have likely never planned a wedding before. They might be doing their first family portrait session ever. And so they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what to ask, and it is your job to educate them on it. We also want to have, the equivalent of fluffy warm rolls on the table. So maybe this is a client welcome packet. Maybe it's a welcome gift. We want to immediately, quote unquote, bring them to their seat and have their water filled, which means we want to get back to our inquiries quickly. We want to make it easy for them with all the resources that they already need. So maybe we give pricing up front, we give a scheduling link so they avoid back and forth scheduling. You want to be filling their water and wine as soon as it starts getting low, aka you want your communication to be proactive and not reactive. So you actually want to be answering questions before they even ask them. And you want to check in with them frequently to see how they're doing. And so like you guys saw, I just sent a check-in email to Jason and Alyssa when we were inside my honey book. So they are able to, it's literally just like, hey, like it's like 3 sentences. You guys saw it. It's like, hey, how's planning going? I know there's so much going on right now. And, there's a lot of balls in the air when it comes to wedding planning. I just wanted to see how I can help. If you need anything, I'm here. Don't hesitate to reach out. And so I check in with my clients just with a simple check-in email 3 times, but I send a client education email once a month or some sort of onboarding, relationship building. So essentially those 7 love languages of client experience, I'm building that all into my workflow. So I build all of my communication into the workflow. My organization is built in. Like I'm creating their timelines for them, their family formal lists for them. And then obviously my back end is organized. And all of this just leads to a better experience for them. I'm educating them throughout the workflow. I'm giving an incredible service on the session day for their engagement session, on the wedding day. I'm sending gifts throughout the workflow, a welcome gift, timed. All my gifts are timed based off of the project date. I also make sure to try and spend quality time with my couples. So with engagement sessions, I always go to dinner or drinks with them afterwards so that I can build a relationship. And I'm always ensuring them that I care about the relationship. And so this could be through relationship questionnaires. It could be through thoughtful date night gifts based off of their relationship questionnaire. It could be through like thank you notes, through wedding gifts, through just regular emails. It could be through, just building, it could be through texting them, building a relationship. And so I always say my business isn't about transactions, it's about relationships. And that is something that we want to pull through our whole client experience. So I want you guys to just think about if you are currently restaurant A or B, and which, or maybe you're like a A.5, maybe you're like halfway to B. And so there are all these different things that we can actually just build into our workflow to make it easier on us and give all of our clients an incredible experience. Because I've also heard so many photographers tell me that their clients at the beginning of the year, when it's not, busy fall wedding season, get such a better experience than their clients in busy season. And we want all of our clients to get an incredible experience. And so this is, had to throw another friends gift. How many friends gifts can I get into one presentation? But essentially, your clients deserve somebody who cares about them. In Rachel's words, somebody who gives a shit. And so we want to make sure that we are that person, because you don't want to have a relationship where you are barely talking to your clients and then all of a sudden you're asking for a testimonial, you're asking for money. It just leaves a bad taste in their mouth. And so we want to be restaurant B. We want to be the fancy French restaurant, give them an incredible experience that they are going to talk to their friends about. And when we don't do this, we're leaving referrals on the table, which means we're leaving money on the table. Like I said, I've booked over $300,000 in referrals since 2015 alone, because of this experience that's built into my workflow. And I teach all of my client experience in the course, like every single part of my client experience, my marketing, everything is in there. So my question is, how often are you communicating with your clients after they book? To answer Allison's question, I do it at least once a month. And then my last soapbox on this is your client experience can either be a reason that your clients rave about you to all of their friends, or the reason why your business will be a marketing army of one, aka yourself. So which would you rather be? I think you would definitely want to have this army of clients referring you. So that's our section 3, and we are going to dive into assessing this client experience section. So again, as usual, you get 1 point for each of these check boxes. So 1 point if you get 5-star reviews from clients and their friends or family. 1 if your clients often say you were their favorite vendor to work with. 1 if your client communication is on point and you get back to emails quickly. 1 if you deliver galleries well before your contract states and your clients are always thrilled with the result. 1 if referrals are your #1 source for new bookings. 1 if you have client education emails that you send to your clients throughout the experience working with you. 1 if your client experience is more than sending a gift or two. 1 if you have multiple questionnaires that you send your clients throughout your time with them. If you have an onboarding process that builds know, like, and trust with your clients. 1 if you hear from if your clients hear from you on a regular basis. And 1 if your workflow has your client experience built into it. So this is a score of 0 through 11. So Chris is at a 3. Awesome. And like, I could be on this soapbox all day, but like my vendors, so I haven't heard from anybody but our photographer since we signed a contract, like maybe like 1 email of like, yeah, how many people are going to get the service? How many people are going to be there? You owe me money. That's like really most of what I've gotten. And so we want to give people something to talk about from the second they become a client. We do not want to rely on the wedding day, especially if I was only relying on the wedding day. Just think, especially if you're just starting out. I've never actually thought of this, but if you are just starting out and it's like, they always say like getting booked from referrals starting out as a wedding photographer is a long process because you book and then you shoot it a year later. And so you don't get the referral from them until like way down the road if you're only relying on your portfolio. And that goes for anybody, not just if you're starting out. But if you are giving an experience worth talking about the entire time, then you can give them something to actually talk about throughout the whole process and not just rely on your portfolio. So let me see your scores here. So 3, 3, 6, 8. Awesome, Amanda. 5, 6, 5. Krista said, I really like the gift idea to help build the connection, but is there an optimal amount of gifts to give each couple? Small gifts, nothing big, something small to show we care. But at what stages in the whole process do you give them a gift? I give a few. I give one welcome gift, one at the engagement session, one after the engagement session in relation to their photos, and then one leading up to the wedding day. I give the 5 Love Languages book, and then after the wedding day, I give a canvas. Susan said, I love the workflow you're talking about. Most of my clients are booking me from City Hall instead of big weddings. How can I switch my target client? Also, now more and more people are booking for mini weddings instead of big weddings here in Europe. Not sure whether the workflow could work for a situation like this. Yeah, Susan, I literally use the same workflow for micro weddings. I just have a little bit of less client experience because maybe it's a shorter time frame. So you can literally just like remove certain emails from the workflow and shorten that time period. But we're still using the same workflow for our micro weddings, and we're just like deleting some steps if that works. And let me know, just clarify if you're trying to switch your target client from City Hall to be more big weddings or vice versa. Mary had a 7. Bianca said, can you give more examples of client education? Yeah, so this could be a what to wear guide. It could be best times to have your portrait session, first look or not first look, why you should have an unplugged wedding, best way to have a stress-free wedding morning, how to survive family formals, what to do if it rains on your wedding day, what to pack the night before the wedding. So I literally have all of these client education emails built into my email template packet. So hopefully those examples help. And Irene said, how do your referral programs look like? How can we increase our client bookings for client gifts? When would you give family photo shooting gifts after the session? Yes, family shoot, I would give a gift after the session, most likely. Increase client bookings. I will share a little bit about that when I talk more about the course. And I don't necessarily have a referral program. Maybe people just refer me because they had a really good service, but I know referral programs obviously work and exist. I haven't done one in a long time. I don't know if Joy has one or not, but my clients just refer me because of a service. Who do I use for prints? I use, oh my God, who do I use for prints? I think it's Pro DPI. It's like connected to my pick time. So it's been so long since I actually went through to the lab. And let's see. Would love to have more big weddings. Okay, cool. Susan, definitely stay tuned. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. And yeah, Allison, like my gifts maybe cost me $80 the whole time on like a $6,000 package. So they don't need to be crazy. I give them a moleskin book with a stamp on it that I custom make to say like, write your love story in here. Welcome gift, I give a blanket with their last name and year of their wedding on it. So it does not need to break the bank. It could literally be their favorite candy, right? You just want to show that you care about them and that you're thinking about them. And so one of the gifts that we got is custom little vow books, which were really nice. So it doesn't need to be anything crazy. But always helps to have something that they're going to see often. Like that's why I like giving blankets with their name on it. It's just a neutral blanket with their future last name. I always ask that in the questionnaire if she's taking, like if they're, taking one last name. And so I give that. And so they're always seeing it. They're always thinking of their photography experience when they use that blanket. So I love that. But yeah, it doesn't need to break the bank. So Awesome. That wraps up our part 3. And then we have 2 really short parts. And I'll tell you guys more about the course, which is so exciting. These 2 parts literally only have like 1 slide each. So our part 4 is just this concept of not reinventing the wheel. And it sounds like from the comments that you guys might still be reinventing the wheel in most areas of our business. But the thing that I want you to come home with from this is I want you to do things once and use that forever. So one thing that my business coach years ago told me, he's not my coach anymore, but he taught me this concept he called FI-RI-RI-RI. And it stood for, if you find yourself repeating yourself, replace yourself or record yourself. And so I'll repeat that again. If you find yourself repeating yourself, replace yourself or record yourself. And so essentially, I put it in the chat because it's a tongue twister. Essentially, what we want to do is not reinvent the wheel every time we sit down at our computer every day. And so some tangible ways to do this, and like literally all of this is in the course, you guys, like literally every single template that I have ever created in my business, my timeline templates, questionnaires, workflow templates, family formalist templates, email templates, process templates, everything is in the course that I could possibly put into there. Joy said it's like literally everything is in there. But this concept, I love to use these 4 R's. So you can either record, replace, repeat, or recycle. Repeating means that you can use email templates in your CRM or Gmail, questionnaire templates in your CRM or Google Docs, workflow templates, design files. You can replace yourself in your business by writing processes that other people can follow. You can record videos to either answer certain, client FAQs of like purchasing prints from your shop or something like that. And you can create video processes in Loom or Process Street for training team members. And you can also repurpose things like, for example, my favorite repurposing is I use my relationship questionnaire to write my blog posts. And then my blog posts are used to write all of my Instagram captions, my Facebook posts, and my newsletter. So my client is basically writing all of their content for me because I use the relationship questionnaire. And so the question to leave you with here is, how can you create something one time in your business and use it multiple times? This is where like efficiency comes on steroids, right? So I want to assess our part 4 score, and then we'll go on to part 5 and I'll tell you a little bit more about the course. So number 1, you get a point if you have email templates set up for all of your emails you regularly send clients. If you have client education emails in your workflow, if you have a workflow automated to your contact form in your inquiry process. 1 point if you have blogging templates that you can write blogs in 15 minutes or less. 1 point if all your questionnaires are in your CRM. 1 if you have processes in your business that a team member can take over and replace you with. 1 if you had something happen to you, somebody can easily follow a process to get work done in your business. And 1 process in place for repurposing content so you don't need to write content for a million different places. So this is going to be a 0 through 8 score. And we are almost done. I know this is a lot of content. The workbook will definitely be helpful for you guys. Chris said 1.5. Well, like I said, you're in the right place. Bianca, 1, 2, 1, 2. Awesome. Okay, so final part. I'll tell you guys more about photography workflow mastery in a sec, but our final part is getting automated or partially automated. And this section is really just kind of driving home the last section of all these different things that you can create templates for. You can also then put into your workflow or use apps to automate certain like low-level tasks in your business. So some apps I use for automation are Calendly for scheduling meetings, CoSchedule for all of my social media scheduling, Planoly for Instagram, Honeybook, Meet Edgar, any other CRM will help you automate tasks. And then Zapier and IFTTT are apps that can connect things together. But our goal here is really just to eliminate all the busy work that an app can do for us. And there's literally an app for everything. And what's really cool is that when we're not just relying on our own manual labor to do things, we can actually book more clients. And so Laura is one of my students in my course, and she booked a client while she was on vacation. Her inquiry email went out automatically with a link to her calendar through Calendly to book a consult with her. So they actually booked a consult while she was on vacation, and she was in Napa with her grandma, and she booked a wedding. And so she said, I just paid for my vacation while I was on it, when if I didn't have that automation set up, I would have waited until I got home to send an email to them. And then I would have had to manually go back and forth to schedule a meeting. But because everything went out automatically or semi-automatically, you can just have your template set up and come to your phone. Everything was able to happen very, very quickly. And she was able to book a wedding while she was on vacation. And so that is just like the power of when, automation can really work for you. And so this is our final assessment, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the course. So part 5 assessment, 1 point if things never slip through the cracks in your business because your systems are on lockdown. Megan, yeah, my course has like literally all of my blog post templates, everything I mentioned, like email templates, questionnaires, timeline, family formal, blog templates, everything, blog workflows, wedding workflow, portrait workflow, album workflow is all in the course. So yeah, my blogging system is all in there. And so part 5, 1 point if things never slip through the cracks, 1 point if you have a CRM that has all of your automations, email templates, everything in there, so you know exactly what to do for every client. 1 point if your admin tasks are streamlined to take up minimal time, so things like email, scheduling, all of that. 1 point if you use a scheduling app to auto schedule meetings. 1 point if you have productivity apps that help you save time with the day-to-day tasks. 1 point if you know your keyboard shortcuts to make culling and editing super streamlined. 1 point if you don't see any places in your business to button up with time savings. 1 point if your post-production for portraits and weddings is streamlined and efficient to deliver portrait sessions in a matter of hours and weddings in a week or less. And finally, 1 point if you know and use apps efficiently, such as Planoly, CoSchedule, BlogStomp, Photo Mechanic, Lightroom, MileIQ, Honeybook, ClickUp, your CRM, Calendly, and so much more that is out there to help you focus your time and energy on things to grow your business rather than always working in your business. So that is a 0 to 9 point scale, which will give you your final assessment if you add them all up. So Krista is at 3. Awesome. 3 for Chris. 3, 2.5, 1.5. Awesome. Okay, so amazing. Also, let me know if you wrote down your number at all, or if you remember. Let me know if you know your total score, because I know there's a little assessment at the bottom as well. So you can tell me your total score for all 5 sections if you be so bold. But I know, all right, so that's our content conclusion. I know that is a ton of info, workflows, systems, organization. There is so much that I could go into. I literally think I packed as much as possible in a 2-hour time span. And I thank you guys so much for spending so much time with me. And essentially we have 3 options to go from here. Your first option is to figure out the rest on your own, as bootstrap entrepreneurs did when they, were just getting started. It's what I did. But unfortunately, bootstrapping is the long, hard way to do things. And without a proven roadmap or a guide to help you, you end up making a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes in my first renditions of my workflow that cost me a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of oops, sorry, didn't mean to send you this email, and cost me a lot of referrals, and just in general cost me so much time trying to create these workflows, fine-tune them, create these email templates, and then fix them and fix the CRM and fix my client experience. So that's option one. You can figure out all the rest on your own. I know I gave you tons of information. Option two is you can hire somebody to do the work for you. That's something that we do. We create custom workflows for people. We put them into your CRM, and that is awesome if you know the efficient system. So like I was saying with my husband, if I gave him the back end of my Honeybook completely laid out and said, here, go run my business, but he didn't know how to do all these things. He didn't know how to call a wedding in an hour or less. He didn't know how to edit a wedding in a day. He didn't know how to blog a wedding in 15 minutes. Then this system would essentially be useless. So that option is really great if you're like, I'm already efficient, but it's all in my head, just somebody get it into a system for me. That option is great. But the third option, and obviously my preferred option for the maximum results for you, is learn all of these strategies, the shortcuts, and get all of my templates so that you don't have to do anything yourself. And that would all be inside Photography Workflow Mastery, which I'm really excited to collaborate on Joy with. This is normally only open once, maybe twice a year. We really haven't decided, but Joy and I really wanted to team up to bring this to you guys, especially because a lot of people are getting reschedules for the fall. So fall is about to be crazy. And two, next year it's going to be a flood, and I'm going to share this for you guys in the chat box as I tell you a little bit more about it. But what I really view next year being, I keep saying this is like the warning that it is going to rain for 40 days and 40 nights, and there is going to be a flood. And if you want to make the same amount of income that you normally do in your photography business next year, you're going to have to shoot essentially double what you did this year. So I had every single wedding that I had booked this year reschedule. I had a few micro weddings, but they're still doing a big wedding next year. So that means I only shoot 15 weddings a year, sometimes 12 because I have 3 businesses, but that means all 15 of my weddings moved. And if I want to make the same amount of income next year, I would still need to take on 15 more, which now means I'm shooting 30. Most people shoot more than me because they don't have 3 businesses. But I have a friend, Vanessa, she rescheduled 36 weddings, which means if she wants to make that same amount of income with photography and not have like a 80 to 100K drop, she needs to book an additional 36 weddings, which means that next year might be 72 weddings for her. And maybe you don't shoot that many, but maybe you're going from 15 to 30 or 20 to 40, 25 to 50. So essentially, a lot of people really have 2 options. They can either double their bookings and burn out, or they can double their bookings, have a system in place to actually survive the flood. And yeah, Amanda said, it's a mess right now. You're primarily a newborn photographer, and it's crazy. And so that's like, we literally spent and by we, I mean like me and my team, Bridget, Sydney, and my mom, we spent the first 6 months of quarantine completely overhauling Photography Workflow Mastery with workbooks, take action guides, new videos on albums, on client experience. And we really made this the best course possible for getting you organized and streamlined and running a business that doesn't run you, even with the flood that's coming next year. So I firmly believe that I would be able to easily shoot 50 weddings a year if I wanted to without going crazy on the back end. I know most people say like, oh yeah, the beginning of the season, it's like easy. You have 2 clients and then busy season comes and it's this snowball. My friend always says, she's like, I feel like I'm a snowball that starts at the top of the stairs and it has like a little bit of snow on it. And then I just like fall down the stairs and like all of a sudden I'm like this giant snowman at the bottom, collecting all this snow, taking up speed, and I'm just getting so behind. And so I really view next year as like a flood like we have never seen coming before. And this course is really created to not just help you survive the flood, but ultimately run your business as productive and efficient as humanly possible. So inside, I'm going to share a little bit with you guys about the different modules, because this is essentially everything you need to run a streamlined, organized business, but also give your clients an incredible experience and get more inquiries, more bookings. And I'll share a little bit more with you about why that's the case. But hold on one second. So I'm gonna like briefly walk you guys through these modules, and the course should have also popped up in the chat box, I believe. If it didn't, let me know. But in module 1, we talk all about creating a solid business foundation for long-term success. So we go through the 11 core building blocks to have freedom and success long-term. We go through a step-by-step system to set up and maximize your CRM without overwhelm, so you can manage and maintain dozens or hundreds of clients at a time with ease. The person I just did another workshop with has 106 clients currently booked right now. And so she is actually able to shoot all of those. She's had 5 sessions a day every single week for like 3 months now, and has 5 sessions a day every single day until November. And she's still on top of everything. She was actually the first person to ever purchase my course, but she has 106 active projects right now. And so module 1 really helps you get all of the CRM, project management, everything set up, your time management, your weekly planning, all of those productivity aspects of the business are in this business foundation module. We also talk about how to maximize your time every day and skyrocket your productivity, manage your calendar, and the easiest way to manage your time and cut your work hours down by 40% or more. So a lot of my students have actually cut off 75% of their work hours, which is super awesome and super crazy to me. It's what I did, but it was just really cool when you have a system that other people can follow, that they can do the same. So that's all in module 1. Module 2 is how to create workflows for just about anything, which is what we went through today. So we went through the secrets to a great workflow that doesn't just save you time, but gets you booked out. We walked through how to create workflows to get off the hamster wheel and get streamlined in every aspect of your business. We talked about the most effective way to remove yourself from the day-to-day with processes and systems that are easy to follow. We go through this with even more depth and, screen flows and videos of me screen sharing and creating workflows, creating processes, showing you exactly how to do that. And we also will talk about how to fix all the leaky holes. So we talked a lot about today, and we did talk a lot about how to fix these leaky holes, but in the course too, we go through all the leaky holes of your inquiry process, your booking, your onboarding, your post-production, your client experience, all these different sections of your workflow where you might be losing time, clients, and money. And the course shows you exactly how to fix that, how to fix your inquiry process to maximize your booking rate, how to onboard your clients to build know, like, and trust with them instantly, how to get referrals from clients, how to set up a great client experience. So module 2, super awesome about how to create workflows. And then module 3 is all about converting inquiries into bookings. So what this course really does is it goes through every section of the workflow, and there's a module for each chapter. So a module for inquiries, a module for booking and onboarding, a module for client experience, a module for post-production, for pre-wedding planning, pre-session planning. So this talks all about how to reduce getting ghosted, get people onto a call or a meeting right away, how to get inquiries to book a consult and actually connect with you, exactly what to say in your initial email response, the secrets to an amazing consult that almost always results in a sale, the key follow-up emails to get a client's attention to lead them to book, how to stand out in your inquiry process, which is super important, especially if you live near me. There are 5,000 registered wedding photographers in a 100-mile radius on the knot where I live. I'm near New York City, so standing out is super important. And I also will talk about the secret tip I use to get clients to make a decision quickly after a consult. So that's all in Module 3, is really converting our inquiries into paying customers. Module 4 is all about bookings, onboardings, and the client experience. So we talk about the number one component to an incredible client experience, the most often overlooked part of your workflow, which can make or break trust with your clients, how to get your clients referring you before you even take a single picture of them, the step-by-step system to get clients signed and paid in 5 minutes or less, why going beyond client gifts is essential if you want to continue growing your business and raising your prices. I know Joy is all about that. And the one component of client experience nearly everybody skips out on, and how to build client experience into every portion of your workflow. No matter how busy you are, you're still giving an incredible experience. So that's all in Module 4. And Module 5 is everything for engagement or portrait workflows, A to Z. So we talk about pre and post session planning to get clients raving about you to all of their friends. I was actually talking to a couple last night, and I had photographed 11 of their friends' weddings. We talk about how to prepare your clients for their portrait session so you always have amazing portfolio-worthy images, the secrets to culling a session in minutes, how to write blog posts in 15 minutes or less, how to edit a full gallery in an hour or less, how to cull, like my signature culling method that will just transform your workflows for no matter what you do forever, and simple shortcuts and time-saving tricks to cut post-production in half or more. So I think most people in the course are cutting about like anywhere from 70 to 90% off of their post-production time, which is mind-blowing. That's like the average. And then Module 6, we talk about wedding day timelines. You have all of my wedding day timelines at your fingertips, my template pack, my family formal lists, and how I create family formal lists in 5 minutes or less. And these all really play into the client experience as well. We talk about the most important tip for photographing the wedding day that will have your clients raving about you afterwards and their families. My step-by-step workflow for creating same-day slideshows, how to continue being a trusted resource for your client at all times, and the step-by-step system for how I do everything efficiently during this process. So this is for everything you're doing before a wedding day. And then Module 7 is like by far the biggest one. There's, I think, 33 videos in this one because it is every single step of post-production, what to do, when to do it, how to do it. So we talk about one 5-minute task you have to do one time. That'll save you hours. I literally got a message from somebody yesterday that was like, oh my God, how have I never done this before? This is literally going to save me so much time throughout the course of my business. Lightroom tips and tricks to shave hours off of your Lightroom workflow, how I deliver weddings in a week and never have more than 2 in your editing queue at a time, the secret to culling weddings in under an hour, how to write blogs in 15 minutes or less, my culling method to transform your workflow, simple shortcuts, my backup system, my blogging system, my marketing system, my SEO system, how to sell albums to 90% of your clients, or how I did that to 90% of my clients, and my A to Z album design and marketing workflow, as well as Module 8, which is streamlining and automating all of this in one place. So this is putting everything you learned on autopilot, putting it into your CRM if you didn't do it in module 1, putting it into something like ClickUp, how to literally save thousands of hours working on your business over the course of your business, so you can work on your business. Because when you are stuck in the day-to-day of running your business, you are not going to grow your business. You need to be working on the money-making tasks. Like, people always say, oh, I don't have time to blog. Well, like, okay, well then you don't have time to market. And so we're going to talk about how all of this will save you thousands of hours in your business, how to set up your CRM workflows from inquiry all the way through delivery, so you know where everybody is at all times, how to set up your business for growth, and how to streamline it so it's running like a well-oiled machine and you never feel like a chicken with your head cut off ever again. And then we have some super cool bonuses. Literally everybody tells me that the whole course itself is worth just the bonuses. Or the bonuses are worth the price of the course itself. So we have a Tech Vault bonus, which goes through how I use every single one of the apps I use in my business. So making your life. I love that you've been watching them, Joy. So we have Calendly, Planoly, CoSchedule, MileIQ, Slack, Loom, a bunch of other productivity apps. So everything in this Tech Vault bonus. And then we have a HoneyBook Vault as well. Even if you don't use HoneyBook, it's totally fine. Everything in here is not HoneyBook specific. It will translate, but I teach you exactly how to use every single tool in there. So the contact form, brochure, questionnaire, email templates, workflow, task manager. And so you literally get all of these amazing things. You get my questionnaires. So you have my wedding workflow, portrait workflow, album workflow, wedding day questionnaire, family shot list template, timeline questionnaire, relationship, newborn, family, maternity, engagement questionnaire, and vendor questionnaire. All of my workflow templates. It's all here in this list. So you got the whole course, all of my workflow checklists, all of my questionnaires, and our #1 post-production guide on the market, the Wedding Photographer's Playbook, which will just be a PDF version of what's shared in the video, but people love that companion guide of exactly what to do and how to do it. So this post-production guide is exactly what I gave my intern to take my memory cards and run with them, and literally get an entire wedding complete without having any background in photography. Didn't even have Lightroom. Katie, there will be a replay. You'll get an email. And you'll also, if you would like to check out HoneyBook, get a 50% off discount from HoneyBook, or $1 trial if you join before September 30th. I know Joy has that same one. And access to all our vaults and our private student Facebook group. And the cool thing that Joy and I worked on together is my Skyrocket Your Bookings bonus. And so I know, this bonus is only available in the next 24 hours. So if you have to hop off and you need to increase your bookings, increase your inquiries, Joy said this series alone is worth the price of the course. So this bonus is insane. I did 11 interviews with industry leading experts. There is 10 hours of interviews and workbooks and take action checklists for exactly how to skyrocket your bookings. And what I did here is I interviewed people on all different topics. So I didn't ask the same questions to everybody. We really covered the entire gamut of marketing here. And so now you have this course, which will save you a crap ton of time and make you way more efficient. And you have this awesome Skyrocket Your Bookings interview series vault, which will help you with all of your marketing and bookings. So we talk about going full time, marketing at every level of your business, client experience mastery, converting inquiries, how to use Instagram and your personality to skyrocket your business, how to create relationships with clients and vendors for long-term success, how to use Facebook ads to attract leads, website design to get booked out, building resilience as a business owner, how to create a killer inquiry and follow-up process that books weddings on autopilots, copywriting for your ideal client, using second shooting to get booked out, how to hook and book more brides and expand into the luxury market with joy, and how to authentically brand yourself to attract dream clients, stand out in a saturated market, and how to book couples with ease. So this vault, we have so many amazing people in this, and it is so exciting. We have Joy, we have Vanessa Hicks, we have Jen Larson, Tori Kellner, Jess Jordana, Michelle from, oh my gosh, she has a different business name. What is her business name? Oh gosh, we have so many people in this vault. And so that alone, those are coaching calls essentially that are recorded on Zoom, and that alone is over $2,500 because everybody charges at least $250 for an hour of coaching with them. So I got all that packaged up for you guys. The discount for Honeybook Irene is in the course. Me and Joy also have a discount if you don't join the course, but super, super amazing. Really excited to see Chris and oh my gosh, I'm getting text messages. I'm very excited to see Amanda and Rachel and Chris and Lynn in the course. Thank you guys. I'm so excited. And so your total value is $51.67. Normally this course without the bonuses is $697, but Joy and I wanted to create a super, super awesome deal for you guys, including the Skyrocket Your Bookings bonus for just $497. So you have essentially three options here. Joy's in the course, so she knows how much is in this. So you essentially have three options. You can get in for $497 today, or you can do it for 6 payments of $87 or 12 payments of $44. And I never really ever go down as low as 12 payments. I know, you guys, that this is a crazy time. Like, I mean, I'm a wedding photographer still myself. I teach and I do wedding photography and brand photography. So I know that cash flow is crazy. It's all over the place. It's unpredictable. But I also know that next year is going to be an insane, insane flood. So me and Joy wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to hop in so you can really spend the time that you have now getting all of this in place, so that as you get crazier and crazier, everything just runs like a well-oiled machine. And my true goal as an educator is to help you do the parts of your business you love more and get the parts of your business that you don't love, all the day-to-day, the running the business, the post-production, all of these things. I want to help you do them faster and easier. One of my students put it best that she said, Laura helps you run a business that doesn't run you. And that is always my goal, to just be a one-stop shop to help you actually find freedom from your business. Because as me and Joy were both sharing our stories, there were so many similarities that we both really burnt out very quickly in our business. And I, for one, was like, I don't know how people run wedding photography businesses or portrait photography businesses. I am working all the time. And so we both have hit that burnout. We've made those personal sacrifices, but now we've also seen that you don't actually have to do that. So you can get in with all of these bonuses. Literally every template I have ever created for my business is included in this course. We had a few people join yesterday because I was speaking to a mastermind group, and she was like, why is this not a $2,000 plus course? And it's something I'm asking myself frequently because people keep telling me that. But for the time being, it is a $497 investment that will literally save you thousands of hours in your business down the road. Joy, thank you so much. You guys will also get access to workbooks in every single one of the modules to really help you take action. I personally can't stand watching courses, having to take so many notes and then not knowing what I actually have to do. So we created a workbook for every single video in this course with a take action guide. So you literally know exactly what your action plan and your roadmap is to get through all of this content and get your business fully set up. I literally had, people join 2 days ago from this mastermind. She's like, I already have all of the email template set up. I have all my workflows in my CRM, and she only joined 2 days ago. So you can really go as quickly as possible. And I just love sharing student success stories it's just so exciting to see what's possible. So Beth said she joined back in February. She said, I just have to tell y'all what we learned yesterday is life-changing. I got the course, began working last night, and even though I stayed up until 2 a.m., I put in 5 new questionnaires, made proposals, and all the package templates in Dubsado that will make my workflow so much faster. I can't wait to get my hands on the email templates and work on that too. This is so freeing. If you didn't get the course, go do it now. And then Laura Eddy said, I feel like I need this. I have to finish watching yesterday's call. That was in response to Beth. And Beth said, your mind will be blown. I can't believe how much better I feel already. And I just opened a few bonus documents. And something that Beth messaged me that I loved was that you're so welcome, Carissa. Something that Beth messaged me was that her son was, I think she has a 5-year-old son, and she joined in February. So there was, it was obviously winter, and her son said, Mom, it's snowing. Can you come out and play with me? I want to build a snowman. And she messaged me on Facebook and she said, normally I would, make every excuse in the book. I still need to edit. Mommy needs to call. I need to blog. I have so much work to do. I'm sorry, honey, I can't play with you right now. Just 30 more minutes, 30 more minutes, just 1 more hour. Mommy needs to focus right now. She said, normally that's what I would say. But she said, today I said yes to playing in the snow with my son because I knew that there was a light at the end of the tunnel. And that to me is exactly why I do what I do. And I have a little quote on my vision board that said, if you sell something you love, then you just sell love, not a specific product or service, and that will show. And I hope that shows because I love, workflows and systems are great, but I love the results that it has for people on the back end of their life. And that's the crazy benefit of this. And Jasmine is also one of our students. She said she started off with the post-production module, which was module 7. And she said, I used to deliver galleries in 4 to 7 weeks, but now it's 1 week. I saved 10 to 30 hours of work a week with the post-production module alone. It helped me get to know how to get things done on time and not work more than I need to. Letting me know when I can stop for the day, when I should send emails is amazing. I love how organized it is to help me stay on top of things and keep me organized. And she actually messaged me after my last workshop, and she said that her and her husband were able to take a 3-week vacation to Germany, laptop free, because she actually got everything done ahead of time because she logged into her account, in Honeybook or Dubsado or whatever she used. She logged in and she was able to work ahead of schedule. So she actually got all 3 weeks worth of tasks done. So her and her husband were able to go on a 3-week vacation and not worry about anything. And so there's just so much freedom that comes when you actually get your business set up and organized. And these are some more from Matthew, one of my students. He said, you're the best. We use Trello, but open to learning other platforms. It's clear your system and processes work. Since enrolling and using the emails and the workflow, we booked 2 brides. The follow-up is genius and literally makes us nurture the way we wanted to, but didn't have time to implement. All I can say is thank you. And then he said, I'm so happy to be in this group. Since implementing the workflow, we booked 2 weddings. Last week they inquired and we booked them. I just logged in and looked at the templates briefly. I wanted to send one follow-up to our client meeting last night. I'm blown away. These are exactly what I needed. I just built the entire inquiry workflow and wedding workflow in Dubsado. And it's just so crazy. That was literally within a week of getting into the course, which is awesome. And Tina, she's just been like killing it lately. I just had a call with her because I just wanted to follow up and see how she was doing. And she said it's one of the few courses she's ever been all in on. She's binge watched it. She implemented everything. And she said it's no fluff, straightforward, easy to digest content. And Crystal said, she said, you are a godsend. I finally finished putting together all the templates, started the workflow, and I've gotten multiple emails from my clients that they're blown away with my communication and have appreciated the extra efforts of checking in and sending vendor recommendations. This year is going to be amazing. I feel a major weight lifted off my shoulders already. Thank you. So to just end with a GIF, I feel like this is going to be the equivalent of next year where, there's going to be a flood. You can either be, who is this? Like Kevin Hart, maybe? I can't tell. But you can either be hanging on to a piece of plywood for dear life, just praying that you don't drown in this flood. And I really think, if you survive the year of coronavirus, people also need to survive the flood of the effect of coronavirus on their business. And so people are going to burn out. They're not going to want to do this anymore, but there is a much better way. And so there is this option. A second reality I see for a lot of people is they're going to be like this kayak or canoe where they're just treading water, barely trying to keep their head afloat. Or you can be super pumped and excited, like my girl Haley Steinfeld in Pitch Perfect, and just loving life, feeling on top of things. And so we made it super easy. I'm so thankful for Joy I know she had to hop off and get Clara. But Julie, the payment plan option is all the way on the bottom of the sales page. If you click enroll on the very bottom, you'll be able to join with the payment plan of 12 pay for just 44. So it's right at the bottom of the sales page. And if you are wondering if this is for you, we have had literally students across the board who are just at every level of business, because I know that it's just not super common for people and creatives to be super organized. So we've had people that are still working their full-time job that use these tools in the course to take their dream career of wedding or portrait photography and take it full time. We've had new moms and dads who wanted to go and actually have a maternity leave and have gone from 60 hours to 15 to 20 hours of work a week with 3 kids. I know that you guys joined the world of entrepreneurship to have freedom. And this is literally everything I could bundle into a course to actually have that. We've also had photographers who've been in business for 10 plus years and do hundreds of sessions a year with huge families. And then we have educators in the industry who are killing it on the outside, and maybe their business was an overwhelmed mess on the inside. We have a lot of educators in the course, like Joy and Vanessa Hicks and Julie Paisley, and they've all gone through this course because things looked awesome on the outside. Joy's very organized, so not Joy, but we've had a lot of people who were really killing it, and they're just like, I am barely keeping afloat. So we've really had this gamut of people across the board be in this course, which just makes everything super, super awesome. And here's just some really cool screenshots of just everybody getting shit done really quickly is the easiest way to put it. Taylor said she ingested her cards, picked a few favorites for Facebook, which was shared by the venue coordinator. I received a 5-star review from a couple who just got married this evening. I'm wowed by the impact small changes have made. And then Anna said, I shot a wedding 2 weeks ago, and thanks to these workflows, I had it blogged, edited, and culled in 4 days. Somebody said the workflows are changing things dramatically, and workflows are freaking amazing. And my favorite testimonial, Marquette, she's just going to be indefinitely my favorite because she was my first testimonial ever. And she actually was a tester for when I first created my post-production playbook and then increased into the course. And she has 3 kids now. I need an updated headshot for her. But she said, I will always remember this. It was my 5-year anniversary with Scott. And we were on a chairlift in Stratton, Vermont skiing when I got Marquette's email. And she said, Laura, you have very, very literally changed my life. These systems are changing everything for me. As a mom, wife, church volunteer, and photographer, I needed some serious help. My life was being spent staring at the screen and not with the people that meant the most to me. After learning these systems, I had my entire wedding called in 30 minutes. Seriously, 30 minutes. The first week after implementing your entire workflow system, I was able to cut 16 hours out of my normal post-wedding workflow. I made Valentine's Day treats with the kids instead of putting them in front of the TV and gluing myself to the laptop. That right there is worth everything to me. But better yet, after the first time I used it, I actually increased up to 25 hours of savings on my post-production alone. So if you are a photographer, this works for weddings or portraits, and you are ready to kick overwhelm to the curb to survive, not just survive this flood, but thrive through this flood, get organized, and run your business like a well-oiled machine that actually gives you the freedom that you always wanted. This course is everything, literally everything that you need. There is like no holds barred, nothing held back, every single bonus inside that you could possibly ever need to have a well-oiled machine of a business and also a better client experience from start to finish with every tool you need to streamline, get organized, and help you run an efficient business so you no longer have to feel overwhelmed or like a chicken with your head cut off trying to keep things afloat. And if you are still here with me, like, thank you. You guys have almost spent 3 hours with me, which is like just wonderful. There is a Facebook group with the course. I am always available for questions, and we're actually doing monthly group Q&A calls as well. So I am not leaving you guys behind when you join this course. Julie, I'm so sorry that you lost your job, but I'm really excited to see your side hustle become your all-day hustle. I love that. And yes, I have a Facebook group attached to the course for our students in the program. I do have a Facebook group, but a free Facebook group, but I honestly don't ever post in there because I'm just always blogging and sending newsletters and stuff like that. So, but if you are still here, my final question to you is really, what will it cost you to not invest in the course? Like, yes, I understand that $497 is an investment in your business. It's not an immediate yes for a lot of people, but I want you to ask yourself the flip side of what is your cost of inaction. Are you going to miss out on time with your family? And yes, Sarah, thank you for reminding me. I'm going to share the workbook here. Are you missing out on time with your family or a better client experience? Are you missing out on time for self-care or a vacation that's actually laptop free, or happy hour with friends, or time for hobbies, or just like the feeling of peace and calm running your business? There are so many different things that we miss out on when we are running our business and running ourselves into the ground in order to keep things afloat and try to keep track of all of our clients. And like I said, when our capacity is maxed out, our growth is inhibited. And so that is like really the question I have for you guys. And you'll have a couple days. So you have 24 hours to decide if you want to join before the skyrocket your bookings bonus goes away. So that bonus will go away in 24 hours. You'll be able to catch the replay. We're going to put a replay page up, and I also put the workbook in there for you, Sarah. Thank you for the recommendation. If you're watching the replay, you'll also get the workbook in a follow-up email. But that's really what I want to ask you. I mean, it took me 4 months to create everything, all the workflows, questionnaires, email templates, everything in my business back in 2015. So that's a question to ask yourself. Do you have 4 months of time to create everything that you need to create? Or do you want to fast track everything and get all of the proven, we've had hundreds of people go through this at this point, the proven workflows, questionnaires, client experience, productivity and efficiency systems to get everything running like a well-oiled machine. So this has been proven time and time again. We have a track record of, one cool thing I could tell you, we have a track record of never once having a refund request since 2015, when I started my business, which I think is kind of unheard of. We've had non-photographers even join the course and just say just one module was worth the investment because they knew they couldn't use the photo modules. But they were just like, I just want all the productivity and tech vaults and everything. And so we have had across the board people join. So I love that stat that we have is 0% refund request. And but however, we do have a 90-day money back guarantee. So if you join the course, if you want to check it out and you do the work, you put in the workflows and you're like, you know what, this didn't save me any time. A, it's not going to happen, but B, we have a 90-day money back guarantee that if you show us you did the work, you tried, you did it, and you're still in organized chaos, then we will give all of your money back. But like I said, we have not had that request since 2015, so I'm very proud, or 2016, sorry. So very, very proud of that, but we do have that option for you as well. And so, yeah, we just wanted to make it as easy as humanly possible. So for the cost of like lunch and a drink, you can get in for $44 a month, maybe dinner and a drink. And then you will be well on your way to getting everything streamlined. And you can ask me whatever questions you want. Thank you guys so much. Like, I'm going to lose my voice, but seriously, thank you so much for spending so much time with me. I know this is a long workshop. I wanted to do it in person this year, but obviously COVID had other plans. So I just appreciate you guys so much for being here. Something that I've been realizing a lot lately is that something I've always struggled with is just like actually asking for a sale. And my coach tells me time and again that the transformation happens in the transaction, because that means that you guys put skin in the game, and it means that we have the resources to continue to help more people. And I'm literally getting teary-eyed because now I am thinking of all of the students that we get to help. And, you know, it allows us to grow our team, give you guys a better experience, a better service, better resources. And so I've really realized lately that when you have, like, because I've invested, you know, equivalent of a car on certain coaches and masterminds, and I'm like, all right, when I pay attention, and that's when I actually get results and like life-changing, business-changing results when I invest in myself. So just going back to your options, you can completely do this on your own. I gave you guys a ton of value. My hope was to give you as much value as humanly possible. But you can fast track all of this and get everything that has been proven time and again for so many photographers. So Sarah, I am really pumped. I can't wait for you to get started. And Julie, I am so pumped, so excited for you to have confidence to run your business. And I am just so excited for all of you guys. If you have questions, I know there's still 28 of you on here. If you guys have any questions at all, either about the course, about workflows, about my CRM, like literally anything, I am an open book completely. And I am so excited. And yeah, so let me know if you guys have any questions. And I'm gonna, let's see. Thank you guys so much. Okay. Becky, you're so welcome. Whew, I'm like literally gonna lose my voice. Becky or Victoria, let me know if you have any questions. Oh yeah, Irene. The Skyrocket Your Bonus vault will literally have every possible thing to cover to get more clients. There's so many different ways. Obviously, you can go the ideal clients that are not on social media. Referrals is a big one. So, we talked about that a ton throughout this of giving a great client experience from the second that somebody inquires. So parts of the inquiry process that you can up the ante with is calling your inquiries, sending a video message, sending a text message. Really, our goal is to stand out in the inquiry portion of that. In the booking process, we want to give them incentives to book quicker. And then when we onboard people, we want to give them a really, really awesome experience during the onboarding to build trust with them right away. And that could be through client education, through emails or helpful blog posts, and relationship questionnaires, building rapport. So all of those 7 love languages of client experience, Irene, are going to really help you increase your referrals throughout your entire season and trial of booking. Social media, though, there are so many ideal clients on social media. In our Skyrocket Your Bookings bonus, like Joy talks about how to hook and book brides, how to go into a luxury market. We cover literally every part of marketing, from when you are just starting out to when you're more seasoned to when you're trying to go into the luxury market. And so we literally had 12 interviews, $2,500 worth of coaching calls recorded for you guys of how to skyrocket your bookings. So that is all available in the next 24 hours. Joy is a part of that, which is just so exciting. But yeah, there are so many different answers I could give you of social media, personality, just being quick to respond to inquiries, being very personable, getting out there, telling everybody that you are a photographer. Just so many. But yeah, Becky, Victoria, Caitlin, thank you. I'm so glad that you guys have gotten so much value from this. And Alicia asked, what camera do I use and my favorite lens? I use 2 Nikon D750s, and my favorite lens, my 85 when I actually shoot with it, but my most used lens is definitely my 50 1.4, and my 85 1.8 or 1.4. I honestly forget. My camera bag's in my closet, but yeah, 50 and 85 for sure. I also love my 7200, but girlfriend cannot keep that on my camera. My wrist would like die if that was on my camera at all times. But yeah, whatever questions you have. So exciting. Yana and Sarah and Julie and Sarah, again, I'm so excited to see you guys in the course. So exciting. And yeah, if you guys do get the course, it's on the thank you page that you'll be able to add in the email templates for just $97. So that'll be on your thank you page. But I appreciate you guys so much. This was awesome. Julie, the Skyrocket Your Bookings vault will be available in the next 24 hours. So as soon as I hop off, my assistant's going to send an email out. But are you Julie Sawicki? Did I say that correctly? We're gonna manually add everybody into the vault who got it in the first 24 hours. So Bridget, my assistant, will be adding everybody into the vault manually. But Sarah, thank you. Have a great day. You have no idea how much I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. But yeah, so Julie, you'll manually get added into that. But so awesome. You guys are awesome. This is so exciting. I'm so glad that I could do this with you guys. Whew. Super freaking cool. Okay, I'll wait like another second. I'm gonna stop screen sharing. If you guys have any more questions, let me know. I'll also throw my email in here. You're gonna get an email follow-up from me, but I'm gonna throw my email in there if you have questions, and you can also message me on Instagram if you would rather. Admin. Amanda, can you send the same email to hello@LauraLeeCreative? If you replied to a webinar email, I don't know where it would go. If you send it to hello@LauraLeeCreative, me and Bridget will both see it. We both manage that email. And then, or Bridget@LauraLeeCreative, she would also be able to help. But yeah, we will be able to refund your email templates since you got them prior. But yeah, and even if you don't have questions, come follow me on Instagram so we can be friends. I appreciate you guys so much. This was so fun. Super freaking excited. I'm literally gonna lose my voice. My hair is going crazy. So, okay, I'm going to hop off. Thank you guys, and this is gonna be amazing. I hope to connect with you guys one way or another, or see you inside the course, but I appreciate you. Bye, guys.